Hello and welcome to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Atkins, and this evening we will be bringing you another Round 5 Invade game of Kings of War for the Universal Battle Call to Arms tournament between Brindley Smith and Michael Pearcy. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Joining me here in the booth to comment on the game, we have Ashley Smashley Mowat, Kyle Dino Lord Poole, and Steve Forster. Without further ado, let's jump on into the lists and see what we're going to be watching you guys play. I'll bring up Brindley's list first.
All right.
Brindley, you are playing League of Wordia. Would you mind walking us through your list?
Sure. So after I lost last round, I wanted to play something that would be more fun that I've wanted to try for a while. So we got Rordia. And I basically just built this list around all things Erles. So I started out with 3 Hordes of Honor Guard before even touching anything else. And then we'll see as we go down too. I got some heroes for it as well. But those are like the core of my list. I gave them basically items to mitigate terrain and try to keep them alive. So I've got 5 units with Indomitable Will total in this army. I've also got, for infantry, a Polearms Horde with the Indomitable Will, a Spear Phalanx Regiment, and we'll see at the bottom a Dogs of War Horde with Indomitable Will as well. And then getting into the heroes, we have 6. So first off is the Mini Dragon Duke with Staying Stone because I hate getting wavered. Then we've got a Baron on a horse with the Blade of Slashing because I want to sit a dragon down potentially and actually do that wound. A Baron on Erles because Erles. An Army Standard Bearer with the Loot of Darkness. And then 2 Wizards on Pegasi, one with the Conjurer's Staff, so he effectively has Heal 4 and Lightning Bolt 4. And then the other wizard has Boomstick for Lightning Bolt 6. And then lastly, the auto-include unit for Rordia with the Battle Shrine, because it's awesome.
All right, great. And Michael, could you walk us through your Night Stalkers, please?
Yeah, so I've got basically just going off of the stuff that I own or will have soon, but 2 Hordes of Scarecrows, 2 Troops of Reapers, 2 Hordes of Butchers, a Mind Screech, a Regiment of Soul Flayers with the Staying Stone, 2 Terrors, 2 Dread Fiends, and a Void Lurker. So yeah, just kept it really simple. A lot of redundancy, 5 points worth of items.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. All right, so let's bring up your Universal Battle room so you guys can talk about how you've deployed. Okay, so tell me about the terrain you guys picked. Is this an Epic Dwarf map, or did you pick something?
Yeah, we rolled this one. It's table 17. We both had an immediate reaction that this table terrain is just really weird.
Yeah, so it's an odd one.
Yeah, because both of the walls are
very
just
clumpy.
Very weird spots. Yeah, clumped on next to each other. So fortunately, I'm not going up against 6 artillery pieces or something. But yeah, so like in terms of, I don't know, the deployment, I just saw like where could I actually put my Strider unit and my Pathfinder unit, and there was basically one option for each. So I wasn't super stressed about that.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through my deployment as well, or?
Yeah, if you could just walk through your units starting over here on the left.
So you got the Flying Duke. I threw him over here because since I picked sides, I had to deploy first, and I knew that Void Lurker could go anywhere on the table. So I thought at least this way I could react to something being going down the flank. I'm very, very new to using flying monsters though, so I'm just gonna try to be kind of careful with this guy, or throw it away. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We've got 2 Hordes of Honor Guard. So first one has the J-Boots. So I don't know if I'll actually end up using them. Currently, if I run straight with them, they'll actually skip that farmland in the middle there. And then the other ones have Pathfinders, so obviously they're just going to run up into it. Then we've got the Baron on horse, who similarly to the Duke, I basically wanted to have as a reactionary piece. So he's just going to run 16 either direction and see if he can be useful. Then we've got the Baron on Erles. One thing to note about my army is all 4 of my inspiring sources have very inspiring, so I've got pretty good coverage here. Then we've got our 2 big infantry blocks with the polearms on the left and the Dogs of War on the right. Of note is that I could actually only get one onto the hill, so that will be the Dogs of War. They'll be 50% on if they run forwards. The 2 wizards are behind them in the battle shrine, basically just to be that support and try to hopefully lightning bolt off a couple things. The loot, the standard bearer, is next to the trees, so he can run 10 if he needs to, or just watch from the trees and inspire everything. And then lastly on the flank, we've got just the Spearman Regiment and the Healing Brew Honor Guard.
All right, great. Yeah, so all your sources are very inspiring. That gives you great coverage. I think that also gives Michael great coverage too.
I think he's the same all the time. It's always just like 12 or something, right, Mike?
Oh man, I wish it was an extra bubble, but no, it's always 12.
It doesn't make a big difference. Somebody's very loud.
That would be Ashley. She moved her
Ashley-
microphone to be closer.
All right, now Michael, if you could walk us through your deployment, starting up here on the left with your Dreadfiend.
Yeah, so we've got a Dreadfiend over there doing what Dreadfiends do. I've got one on each side, pretty much. But yeah, hanging down the flank. A Horde of Butchers. It was kind of just a reaction at the time that I dropped him. There was an honor guard unit yet to be dropped, so I wanted to make sure that they were over there to just in case that honor guard unit was coming down the flank really hard. Something there that could threaten them. Trooper Reapers, trying its best to hide from all the lightning bolt. Some Soul Flayers, towed into the woods there to threaten. Next to that, if we've got the Mind Screech in a good spot to move around and shoot some stuff. Butchers, Scarecrows, and Reapers is just some infantry to kind of push up the middle. Those Reapers are probably going to get shot a lot, but we'll see what happens with them. The Void Lurker, I figured I'd hang it back somewhere flexible. We'll see what it ends up wanting to do. 2 Terrors, because how could you not put 2 Terrors in a pool with a building next to them and a wall in front of them? Horde of Scarecrows, and then the other Dreadfiend.
And the other Dreadfiend, cool. And so you guys are doing, is the pond and the field flat?
Yeah, I think so.
The pond there, and then up there in the top left, the rock pile. I think that's what you were talking about. Or no, you're talking about the field, the
farm,
field in the center.
So the farm's
Yeah,
flat, and then the rock pile is impassable.
It's impassable. Yeah.
Okay, and how tall are your impassables?
You want to just do infinity?
Sure.
9? Okay.
Okay, so height 9 for the forest and the impassables.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys have acquiesced to testing my new chess clock to see if it works
Yeah, why not?
in the game. So that'll be fun. So I'll bring that up every once in a while, and we'll see how the times are progressing. All right, I think that's it. So best of luck to both of you. Have fun, and we will see you back here when your game's finished.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks,
Good
y'all.
luck, guys.
Good luck.
Now that they're gone.
I could
Now you sound great.
listen to Mike Pearcy read the phone book.
Alex
That's-
says go
that's the-
Canada.
That's the bet you could have put in. You know, Michael, if you lose, you have to read me the phone book.
Yeah.
Read me the phone.
You have to read me the phone book.
They're rolling for first turn. Looks like Brindley has gotten that roll. Just in terms of unit strength and scoring units, because again, they are playing Invade. It's pretty close. Michael has a couple more scoring units than Brindley, but Brindley has a couple more unit strength than Michael because he has so many infantry hordes and large cav hordes. And Brindley has opted to go first, which is probably the right thing to do in a scenario like Invade.
Yeah, it's gonna be like shocking choice here. Yeah. I don't think I've seen anyone in Invade pick second, like voluntarily go second.
It's a tough choice. So list to list, specifically on the scenario, Brindley has sort of an artificial advantage in how bonus points are working, right? Because he has 3 flying unit strength on small platforms. He has the baby dragon, the 2 Pegasus. Now the baby dragon, sometimes he might have to go in right and fight, or one of the Pegasus wizards might have to become chaff. But in theory, he can dance around with those and use them And that's 3 free bonus points and 3 unit strength, right? But win or lose, that's 3 points that if he wants to, the Night Stalkers really don't have a chance to go at, right? If you send a Void Lurker, Brindley's probably happy that the Void Lurker's chasing one of those flyers instead of the flanks.
Right. And
So
similarly,
there
he also has the
is a
Baron
buff
on
there.
Aralez, which is not flying. It's only speed 8, but it's also unit strength 1 and nimble on a small platform.
Fast scoring platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the triple Aralez horde, the triple Undergord horde is pretty common. As far as we look at the mission on Invade for the Night Stalkers, right? He's not in a bad spot either, right? Like those 2 terrors, that's a hard unit to pick up, and when run together, those guys can sort of just go score. The 2 Dread Fiends score, which you can't ignore. The Void Lurker scores, right? You have the words are tough. The Mind Screech, which
also scores.
Doesn't usually score, but there's nothing stopping it. So
I mean, if
they each have a different advantage.
Yeah, I think actually all of Michael Pearcy's units have unit strength. I don't think he has.
Yeah, they're all unit strength.
Yeah, no individuals.
Yeah, I was wondering.
They're not as
it
fast.
feels like you're just listing the entire list he gave us, Kyle.
Right.
When you were
Yeah,
like,
for the Night Stalkers, right? It's all there. But
Yeah.
for Brindley, the advantage is that those things speed 10 fly. That, like the Night Stalkers, some of those are hard to hide. You can hide wizards on a Pegasus. You can hide a winged model and hide it. Dread Fiends, kind of, he needs those to fight, right? Brindley has those models that he can use and not fight. List to list is interesting because I've fought the triple Honor Guard horde. I've seen the triple Honor Guard horde. It did really well at Best of the Rest. But the Night Stalker player has stuff that's kind of hard to one-shot, right? Scare Horde Crows don't care about one horde in the front. But if you can multi-charge with like the Barons or that hero with Blade of Slashing, all of a sudden that 18 attacks on 3s plus a couple wounds becomes one-shot territory for anything in Michael's list.
yeah. So that just kind of comes down to if Michael's gonna give him that opportunity to get away with those double charges, right?
Yeah.
So
Brindley's being very, very aggressive here, just moving straight up into the middle of the table, getting his infantry hordes on the hill, getting some wizards behind them, and moving the honor guard up into terrain. I do really like where Michael has deployed his Dread Fiends. Those are excellent flank denial units, and having them all the way out on the sides like that, like they're not that scary to take in the front, but you definitely don't want them in the flank.
Yeah,
and they're really fast and really good at threatening flanks. So
and they have some staying power. They're 14-16 nerve on that 50 mil square base, and they come with dread, which is something you kind of forget about almost. But yeah, they're a great denial unit. The one thing I noticed about Michael's army, he's kind of, Night Stalker players, they have some of the best chaff in the game, and he didn't take any bantams or any kind of chaffy type stuff. So it's just, I don't know if he'll have trouble getting the kind of charges he wants, trying to deliver stuff.
no thick Butcher Regiment chaff.
That's the other thing, no thick chaff.
No thick
thick
And
chaff.
he's got
So just
both
hammers
of
and
those
handles.
terrors side by side, which is cool because they're probably not going to die, but they're not spread out to try and support anything either.
Right. And I've never had success with terrors, and I've only ever taken one at a time, but I've never had success with them.
So
I also have not had success, but I have never played Night Stalkers, so my opinion is invalid.
Brindley leaving his stuff out of charge range, which is important because those Honor Guard being height 4, Reapers are speed 6. If he'd moved up, I know he actually backed up the unit there on our left.
Right.
There was a chance they might have actually been in 12, and this isn't a unit Brindley normally plays. It's easy to forget that height 4 stuff is height 4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a turn 1 charge from a Reaper troop is not what anybody wants to see. So he caught it, or he knew about it ahead of time. But it's not going to happen. But that is an aggressive open for Invade. He's basically already at the scoring line.
He's basically like, okay, now you have to kill me or you lose, basically.
If this was dodgeball, he'd have all the balls right now.
Right.
But does he?
You would know, Ashley.
I would know.
He would know.
All right, so you're Michael Pearcy. You've deployed, and you're watching your opponent's first turn, and he's brought stuff that is pretty much faster than you across the board, and has gotten first turn and has moved them all right up in your face. What do? Do you just put your anvils out there and say, "Come get some," and I'm going to counterpunch the hell out of you? Do you try to play coy and maneuver? Like, what's your opening move?
So, do you want my like analytical what would I do, or my actual what would I do, which is probably just complain to myself about not getting first turn and then pout for a few minutes and then figure out what I want to do? Probably pout.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Probably just pout. That's all the balls. Well, I'm glad the boys in the group know and I don't, so that's fine. Yeah. I don't know. I think like maybe I would probably try and outmaneuver something. And then if you're good and let them get something, tie them up with your anvils, tie them up with the scarecrows. Like, those aren't the units that I would be particularly concerned about if I was playing Night Stalkers.
Yeah. I feel like Michael's right flank is probably going to be in a pretty good position. Because between the Terrors and the Dread Fiend, like all he's got to do is put the Scarecrows in the right spot to charge and not get killed by that Honor Guard regiment. And then he can countercharge with like all three of those, wipe out that side, and then turn and face the middle with the Terrors, which I feel like is what he really wants to do. He really wants to be able to turn the Terrors and like look down Brindley's line from the middle.
Right.
Can you confirm for me? Sorry, Mike, I hate to cut you off. Which infantry horde is to the right there? Oh, the Dogs of War. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that also is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poor alms. I just couldn't, from this angle, I was like, I don't remember which one's where.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Dogs of War are also something that, I think he's kind of put in that spot where maybe they need to help protect that right flank. Maybe they come to the middle. See how things go, but I have a feeling they're going to end up going to the right a little more there.
All right, Brindley moving on to a shooting phase.
Pew pews.
Where we will see
that does nothing because of stealthy.
Yeah. It's
going to be interesting to watch Michael move because he doesn't have that chaff, right? There's nothing cheap or disposable to sacrifice. One of the things I think Brindley may have overcommitted in his movement phase, especially with the Cav, the Honor Guard, because he's not in charge range of the Dread Fiend on the left, but he is in that Dread Fiend could just nimble and double time in the way of the Honor Guard. And that could let Brindley move the Butchers up, the Reapers up. He could charge with the Soul Flayers or chaff with the Soul Players and try to Wind Blast. And he could try to basically buy a turn of quote unquote less or bad charges. And then you're left looking down the throat of Reapers and Butchers.
Yep.
And
which might be why he's trying to cherry pick those Reapers behind the Scarecrows with his shooting.
Or it could be that they have almost no nerve.
Yeah,
it's a smart target, right?
Yeah, there's things. It's like those are the kind of targets where if you don't feel that you're carrying a heavy.
But I mean, that's some good shooting for Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
But my thought after Brindley's move is the Honor Guard on the left. They're fast enough and they're strong enough. I don't think they needed to be that aggressive. He backed up even 2 more inches. A full pivot and 16 inches from the Dread Fiend almost blocks no charges. Now that Dread Fiend can be basically within an inch of their base, and he can really mitigate the flexibility of that horde. Now he's sacrificing a Dread Fiend, but if you're trading a Dread Fiend for an Honor Guard horde next turn, I take that trade every time.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he got too aggressive.
Void Lurker.
That is an interesting charge choice.
That's one moment here.
I know they're just,
Oh, now I
looking
can
at where
see
it fits.
Dino Lord Beard better.
So we're going to see. So they started with 70 seconds, and Brindley burned almost 10 minutes on his clock in the first turn, which is pretty quick. I feel like usually people are a little slower in the first couple turns, but he didn't waste any time. So there you go. There's your quick check-in on the state of the clock at the bottom of turn 1.
I mean, when your strategy is run fast, you don't have as much thinking to do, I think.
So this is interesting, Mike. If you click on the Dogs of War horde and move in on where they have that proxy Void Lurker, or now it's real. He's deleted the old version, the real Void Lurker. It is not an arc for retaliation charge, nor is it an arc of the Baron or the Honor Guard.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is just barely touching, but not overlapping that line. believe he is.
And it's actually centered properly. Yeah. Okay.
That's what
It
it,
is.
if anything, it might go left a nudge. I mean, the
Yeah.
Baron with slashing blade is there, but that 3 attacks, that
Yeah.
it's not a charge that I was thinking, but putting that proxy up there and seeing how it lines up, a spear horde's gonna struggle. Or that's polearm though. That's crushing, right? What's polearm?
Crushing one,
I
yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah.
Crushing
Polearms are
one, melee
crushing one.
4, 25 attacks.
Defense
That's gonna
3, yeah.
hurt. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. The Void Liker's only defense 4. I mean, it's hard to. I'm not sure
So-
if I like that all that much.
So it'll be
But-
what 24 attacks with on 4s
Well,
and
and-
3s.
And you
Yeah.
have access to Bane Chant. I mean, it's crappy Bane Chant, right? It's Lulu of Insatiable Failure, but it's still Bane Chant.
Yeah. But that's why you put
Yeah.
Bane Chant in the list. It's just so you can fail and complain about the fact that you don't have any
Yeah.
Bane Chant.
But I guess if you don't have Chaff, right? Sometimes you just need to go.
You just
Yeah, I
throw you just throw
Yeah.
a flying monster into an infantry horde to give you room to move.
And
for
you
the rest of the-
assume you're going to get 2 turns out of it.
Right.
What's
You're just
really going to matter
everything's
is
chaff
how.
when you need it to be.
Yeah, what's really
Yeah,
going to matter is this
yeah.
left side. And I don't know if anything other than move both units towards the honor guard, chaff the honor guard, and sort of trade up in points
Right.
is going to get him out of the situation. Like the shuffle with the butchers here, I get, you want to take the flank, you want to control an objective, or you want to preserve that unit strength. But at the same time, that honor guard and the flying advantage to the rodeo list, I don't know if you can afford to be coy, if you will. I think
And it
because
looks-
Brindley was so aggressive, you
Oh,
almost
it
have
looks
to
like-
just respond.
And it looks like there was a waiver to the Reaper troop behind the Scarecrows. Is that what
from
that's
the shooting.
From the
Yeah,
shooting.
I think
Uh,
I,
Yeah,
I think
they're-
that's a waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
That's where
and then
Brindley
over here
normally
on
uses
the-
those little skulls.
Yeah, and then over here on the left, he looks like he's going to try to use his Dreadfiend to ground the Duke on the winged airless with the Staying Stone.
6,
Um,
10.
3, 6.
Butcher's being speed 6, that hero's basically stuck unless he just disengages and goes to the right.
Mhm.
So that's an option, right? You just try to kill that hero and I guess roll the flank. But I wonder if he's just going to abandon that flank and move on.
Hmm.
I've never
Interesting.
played Michael, but I've played Brindley a lot.
I'm sorry.
So it looks
what-
like Michael has moved these butchers so that they are just barely out of range of the honor guard, but 3, 6, 9, but can get to the Duke next turn if he stays there to fight the Dreadfiend for another turn.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's going to have to redeploy somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
Get out of dodge. Although
right
with the
flank, what
wall
he's
and the
doing makes
impossible in the way, it doesn't
sense.
give him a lot of space. Yeah, no, his right flank I think is pretty solid.
I think the
Those
Scarecrows
things.
just go up as far as they can and hope for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
Do you think that Dreadfiend takes the charge into the Spearman?
I don't know.
Because
Because
obviously
you don't want the spearmen getting in the way of the terrors, right?
Yeah,
Right.
but you don't want the honor guard just picking up the Dreadfiend for free. So either he charges the Spearman, or he sort of has to sit like he is now, where the honor guard horde can't place. And honor guard into the Scarecrows, I don't think picks him up.
Right.
It's-
So
it
that's
still
that's
hurts.
really the charge that he wants, right? He wants the honor guard into the scarecrows because he's pinned the spears. With the
18 on
Dreadfiend.
3s, winning on 2s is great, but it's still only 18 attacks. It's kind of like the zombie philosophy. It doesn't matter what you wound on if you don't do enough wounds.
Right.
Scarecrows are just better zombies anyways, right?
But he has moved this terror directly next to the building, close enough to get charged by those dogs of war. Right? 3, 6, 9
Yeah.
inches. Oof.
Well
That's-
within.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely within.
I don't know that you. And it looks like he's far enough out in front of the building that it's not. I'm not sure that Michael.
I mean,
won't be able
they-
to complete that charge.
They have ensnare, but dogs of wars are like good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know a
going
lot
fours
about
to 5,
them, but
but they're winning on 2s. And the thing, the terror's only
Yeah.
defense 3, naturally. So whatever wound's getting through are going to stick. And it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
They'll
because
have
they're going to
Thunder's
have.
yeah,
Thunder's one coming off the hill. Yeah.
I don't know if they're actually half on the hill there.
I think they are half on.
yeah.
It looks pretty close to half on, not for me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Brindley said that in deployment that he.
Oh,
he
that's the
deployed
one
them
that's
such
going to be
that at
half
the
on.
first turn.
You're right.
Right.
I think
Yeah, so it's only 10 hits, but I mean 10 hits on 2s. That's sort of 8 wounds. I don't know if you need to take, or at the same time though, if they fail, like if they get stuck there, that is prime territory for Brindley to pull Brindley's anvil unit really out of the middle and commit it to one side where maybe he's hoping that he can back the Terrors up into difficult terrain and just create a grind fest.
So we're seeing some wind blast here from this.
Whoosh. So they moved up, got their nose in the forest, if you will.
Mhm.
Speed 7 on those 12, 13, 14. Just at a charge range of the Reapers now, which is really important because if that Wind Blast had failed, that's kind of a risk. If he'd failed to get Wind Blast 1 and those Honor Guard charge that Reaper troop, that is Honor Guard looking down the whole flank of your army with Strider.
Yeah.
And he only got one success there.
Yep.
So that's kind of risky. I mean, you got to take risks, but
It looks like you put a lightning wound on one of the Pegasi with the Mind Screech.
Yep.
You need the Pegasus alone.
I don't even know if he can see that Pegasus. He probably can. He can just draw a line past the back corner there.
Yeah. And that's an 11. That's a waiver? Because I think you're 10.
Yeah,
Wizards
that's a waiver.
are 10, 12.
Yeah.
So that is a waiver. That's kind of big.
Yeah.
That's the Lightning Bolt 6 wizard, so that's
Yeah.
huge in the early
Yeah.
turns, too.
That's
Yeah.
when you're
Shooting
like-
with one wound is big. Wow. Good job.
So,
I mean, the 10-12 though, it's just so easy to waiver.
yeah.
So
It is.
easy. I play with them all the time, and it's just like, oh, look at this cool thing. Oh, it's dead.
So he's
Absolutely.
moved to combat.
And that's who you want to target, right? We talked about
Absolutely.
those flyers. They score. They're annoying. He's not going to get him in melee. You might as well shoot it.
So the
Wow.
Void Lurker did what, 8 wounds?
8 wounds. Yeah. Hit 9 times.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
9 out of 10.
just roll
Yeah,
good, I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah, just roll great dice.
Mhm.
I mean, you
Seven.
These
don't
early
have to have a
turns-
strategy if your dice are hot, so just
No.
roll
Yeah.
with it.
And strategy is so tough at like turn 1 because you look at the board and you go, oh, there's about 6,000 choices you have. Like you could face this angle, this angle, this angle, and then by
Right.
turn 4, the game's almost wrapped itself up, and you're like, I know what's going to happen. It's almost dice.
Right.
So we're waiting for turn 2 when the juicy ideas start happening.
Yeah.
Hashtag juicy ideas.
Oh, here's is that the end of the round there?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't done the Dread Fiend over on the
Oh,
Winged Arrow
right.
Battles.
Yes. They need to do the.
Uh.
I hasn't done that yet.
Did they forget
I'm
it?
going to remind them because they said we should point things out to them.
I feel like
Yeah, for everyone
really
watching at
small
home.
things.
Well,
yes.
And combat is like the hardest one. Like you have to do it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Looking to see if the flank on the terror from the Spearman Horde or regiment.
But for people watching at home, the players did say that they wouldn't mind if we pointed out things that they miss or get wrong. So they proactively asked for corrections.
Well, I don't like the way Brindley's been
Well, it
grooming
doesn't
his
matter.
beard. Is that a correction? Can we suggest
Yeah.
that?
The Dread Fiend absolutely shit the bed, I believe it was, in that melee.
But he's at least got vicious, so he did 2 wounds and grounds it, which is really all he needs
Yeah.
to do anyway.
That's all. Yeah.
That's fair. I kind of forgot it had vicious.
Yep.
Maybe I should just look. Night Stalker rules are just made up, man. What do we got? Like, what is this? Void Lurker, Crush 2, Fly, Mind Thirst, Nimble, Regen for no reason, Defense 4, Stealthy, Thunderous Charge 1. Sure, let's have a height 6 stealthy thing. Why not?
It's just a really spooky, very tall shadow.
So they're looking here to see if a multi-charge is possible. It looks like it 100% is. So that'll probably determine a lot of Brindley's reforms there.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
would.
there's enough of a
Oh, it's
corner
just
hanging there.
yeah. It's because the sword was going that way.
And then the Iron Resolve kicking in on the Duke there.
Although, isn't it the... Oh, no, because that's a board edge, so that counts as impassable, and that is the one case where you do move over as far as you need to
Yeah.
to allow the
Uh-huh.
charge, right? So
Right.
That's
yeah.
correct.
Normally the Dread Fiend would not slide all the way out to the corner to make room, but since that's a board edge there, he would.
Yep, because that is the least amount of legal territory that unit can take up.
Whereas if that was like another unit, that wouldn't happen that way.
What a cheaty board edge.
You're a cheaty board edge.
Thank you. It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Actually, I think the nicest thing I ever said to you was those legs in very
I'll
short
take it.
shorts at Masters.
Very
Yes.
short cutoffs, I imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And a
was it 2
very
matches
nice
ago?
Christmas sweater.
Kyle Pretzel
And a Christmas
Twinkie
sweater.
used my luscious thighs as the outro to his Masters recap video.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him.
They're luscious.
They are luscious.
So now they're trying to see if the Dread Fiend is in place. Can the Butchers actually turn in some way to move up and make contact first before touching the Dread Fiend?
And that touches the Dread Fiend first. But I think if he pivots just a little bit more, he's got it.
So this is really so for folks watching at home that aren't quite following what's happening here. Brindley has asked if Michael can figure out whether or not this double charge is legal on Brindley's turn, so that he can decide what he wants to do with that flying monster that was charged by the Dread Fiend last turn. Basically, asking him like, "Will you be able to do that charge?" If the answer is yes, then Brindley will probably not leave it there. And if the answer is no,
So
they
there
would
it is. They
fit the
determine the
combo
answer is no.
but they determine the answer. Oh, it wouldn't fit
so-
combo charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's their
they
call.
determined
So-
that it won't fit.
I don't know if that changes Renly's answer much, because sure, you fight the Dread Fiend. You don't kill the Dread Fiend. What it can do is it can just leave,
Right.
and then the
Right.
Butchers still go in. And the Butchers are not what anyone's dragon-type character want to be fighting.
Definitely not.
And you
This
don't want them
fearless
fighting
platform.
and killing you over there and then doing the exact same thing and turning to face your whole line.
Or just going and scoring. That's a big chunk of unit strength, right? Butcher Horde is
Unit
unit
strength
strength 3,
Mhm.
and they're fearless, so it's really hard to lightning bolt off that chunk of territory there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And defense
Rashad
5.
says, "I love the unit names on the bases. It makes it a lot easier to identify." You're right, Rashad. Felix talking about terrors, which no one cares.
Yeah, especially for a broadcast like this where it's a little hard to make out with what each unit is. Having the names on them there, I think, helps a lot.
I concur.
And I didn't ignore that you said I had a sexy dino beard, Felix. I just thought it was implied and didn't feel like calling attention to it at the time. Ooh, we got movement. All right.
Yeah, we got a lot of movement. So I think Brindley moved some proxies in on this terror over here. Looks like he's planning on moving the Dogs of War off the hill onto the terror in the pond, and probably flanking them with these other spearmen, I guess, is what
Yeah.
these two units are proxies for.
Yeah, it looks like it.
The Baron was slashing into the Scarecrow Horde is a charge I actually didn't really see, but it's a good one, right? Those Reaper troops are now stuck,
Mhm.
which is kind of what Brindley wants, because now that unhindered wizard can throw a couple lightning bolt at it, or more importantly, he's probably going to heal the polearm. I guess wavering that wizard really put a hamper on it. But it's stuck,
this is
and it doesn't matter.
a fun answer for the like. Okay, you're going to charge a Void Lurker into one of my infantry hordes right where nothing can see it. Fine, I'm going to charge my dude on horse into one of your infantry hordes right where nothing else can see it either.
And the irony is they may not kill that model.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's 10-12 defense 5, so the nerve is garbage and you can still get it, but it's inspired, it's defense 5, and scarecrows are not known for being unit removers.
No.
Yeah.
They're made of
It
straw,
is-
okay?
That is 30 attacks, though.
It's
for a
true.
horde.
The angle he chose on the Baron, I like. He exposed a flank of Soul Flayers, but I don't think anyone actually cares about a regiment of Soul Flayers in the flank on a unit like that Baron.
Yeah.
On the the pigeon. The thing on the pigeon. It's a pigeon.
I thought it was a dog.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how to say that word. Aralas.
Arrowless.
It's a chocobo, isn't it? Isn't that basically what it is?
I think it's a chocobo, which are
don't
just
know what a
fantasy
chocobo
pigeons.
is. Oh,
It's a giant chicken.
I want it to be a
I
dog.
like the angle
Maybe
though. If the Void Lurker grinds, it risks a flank. He can see most of the threats, and he's nimble. but at the same time, he's out of charge range of all of Michael's threats. So it's a strong position to have that
Oh.
unit.
So it looks like Brindley's changed his mind here and has moved the spearman maybe possibly into the front of the whatchamacallities.
The other terror instead of
Yeah, the
double charging.
terrors, sorry. Instead of double charging.
I don't
seems
know
odd.
if I like that play.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It could have been that he didn't really have a great reform coming out of a kill on the terror, but I look at it as if you kill that terror, that Dogs of War horde can sort of just back up, and then it's a scoring unit already across the halfway point, protected by a house and a pond. And I don't know if you're going to pick up and ensnare Phalanx high nerve horde with Indomitable Will at that point.
No,
Right.
and its flank would be protected by the this spearman when they reformed, and you're supported by an honor guard horde in your backfield, waiting to hit anything that steps up to threaten you. Yeah.
At the same token,
As
though, he probably
long
wins the
as-
grind. So is he worried?
As long as Brindley doesn't expose any more rear charges this game, my stress levels will stay well.
So these guys are wasting no time. Like this is the top of turn 2, and we already have multiple combats going on.
Yeah.
Are we surprised?
So
Not
the
really. I mean,
Spearman Regiment.
These are two players that I find they'd like to get in and get going.
Yeah, well, I mean, and both of these lists are kind of hammers and anvils. Like, there's not a lot of disposable chaff. Like, sure, Brindley has some flying stuff that he can throw in the way and use, but most of those are like get in something's flank and flank it because it's fast and it flies or it shoots. Like, these guys didn't really bring throwaway disposable units or screens or anything. It's just something that's going to live through a charge or something that is going to beat your face in, and they're just going at each other.
They like to beat in
all right.
faces.
So here's what I don't like about the Brindley opt if he sticks with this double charge. I don't think it's an innately bad charger. It's going to put a lot of wounds. It's going to spread out the board.
You're talking about the terror double charge?
The terror double charge.
Okay.
That Dogs of War unit. Sure, it's going to do roughly 10 hits. It's going to wound on 2s. It probably doesn't pick up the terror. That terror can disengage, and now it can see a flank on what will be the Spearman Regiment, and he can double charge that Spearman and move the Scarecrows up to chaff for the terrors without having to commit the Scarecrows. And then he can pick that up and turn the terrors to face back to the Dogs of War.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That's unit strength, right? That's a Phalanx regiment. That's 3 unit strength right there.
Mm-hmm.
That, in essence, I think he's sacrificing for board position. So, I mean, he could do something clever with the honor guard and protect it, but
Good.
as the goblin player in me knows that the sooner you start trading unit strength, the sooner you run out of unit strength.
Sure.
And I don't know if this is a trade he needs to make.
Sure, and the Dreadfiend over there is also looking at the flank of both of those and is nimble and could easily get into the flank of either of them.
Whereas when he had it before, I don't know if he could have gotten into the flank when he had the combo charge on the far left.
Yeah, he was pretty far over. Because that Dreadfiend now, sure, I'll take those extra attacks just to throw the wounds on the Dogs of War without fighting the Phalanx or Ensnare.
Yeah, exactly.
And then...
And he's still chaffing.
Oh.
Now he's going for it.
And he's going for the Scarecrows. Okay. So now he can't see them.
Yeah. But now you have a Dreadfiend in the flank of Honor Guard.
Of Honor Guard, right.
And, I mean,
because
sure,
you're not picking up Scarecrows in one round.
Yeah.
No.
They'll survive one round.
And again, like the flank is exactly where a Dreadfiend wants to be. That's where it's going. That's where Michael's going to get the most value out of it. And Brindley's just shown him like 3 different flanks to pick from. Turn 2.
For those of you who aren't aware of the glory of the Dreadfiend for 135 points, allow me to regale you of my constant nightmare fighting Night Stalkers. It's speed 8, melee 3, with 5 attacks. Which it's 14-16, so. Nice nerve for 135 points, right, on a large cav base. It's crushing strength 2, dread, nimble, and vicious and melee. It's also stealthy. And again, it's 135 points of scoring murder. So in the front, it's about the same as a mounted hero, right? A mounted or a king on like a chariot platform. But it fits on that little base everywhere. It's vicious melee on 5 good attacks. Crushing 2, melee 3 is no joke. And dread is huge. You slap that thing around, And yeah, it's annoying, except you can't snipe the damn thing.
Yep,
It's a lot of rules for 135 points.
it is.
I was
And
thinking, I was
think
like, wow,
Joey
you're
Greaves used to
describing
play
my
with, like,
captain.
3 of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
Joey
I
Greaves
played
had the
it's the
teddy bears.
Fiend Reg spam list.
I was gonna say it's the Ultramarines of Kings of War. Just
Kinda.
is there a special rule we can fit on a unit? Let's probably give it to a Dread Fiend.
Let's give it to a
Yeah.
Dread Fiend. You know who doesn't have
Does it
enough
need
rules yet?
extra?
Dread Fiends.
You know what would have extra benefit from Dread Fiend? Yeah, sure,
Mhm.
why not?
It's in
Yeah,
the
but
name.
dread
it's-
from a dread fiend, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but so it's a cost effective unit for what it does, and it's cheap enough, right? That like in this situation, if the honor guards sit there, he wouldn't be remiss to throw the Dread Fiend into the front of the honor guard to strip their Thunderous one.
Mhm.
That doesn't really matter this game, and say, hey, you can kill me, then my Scarecrows will come in and we'll do the old grindy, and hopefully my terrors have cleaned you up by then. So
Right.
I don't know. Oh, so that's final board state. I do
Oh, wow.
think they forgot that wizard with Lightning Bolt 6 was wavered.
Yeah.
Oh no, Rally from the Battle Shrine. No, it would
Oh.
still be
Oh yeah, he
still be
wouldn't have,
wavered.
no, because
Yeah,
it was
it's Rally
11
Because it's Rally 2.
too.
Yeah,
So it'd be
Oh, it's
would
Rally
be-
2. So you know
Mhm.
what? We don't know how rules work. Screw
Yeah.
us, man.
yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
we shouldn't have. They maybe shouldn't have said that we could interfere with rules.
Remember when I said that that's a great way to block the troop in the back and snipe it with Lightning Bolt, and then recanted because I was wrong?
Oh my gosh, there
You
goes.
weren't wrong.
He's up to 5 wounds on the Reaper troop. Thingamabobber.
More lightning
Also, I
from
think
the
I said
wizards.
Lightning Bolt didn't ignored stealthy, and I was wrong. I don't take anything important in goblins, so I don't know rules.
You just take lots of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, none of them are valuable.
I just played a game against goblins for funsies the other night. I
So
got
what do you
beat
do
up.
with the other Pegasus? Do you heal or Lightning Bolt here?
Heal.
What do you think?
I think I would lightning bolt at this point.
Yeah, I would too.
So he did inspire that Reaper troop, which is worth noting. And then
Oh,
a Reaper
by running
troop
the Baron out, yeah.
is 10-12. So
Yeah,
right now
it's-
he's looking at what, a 7 twice to pop?
Yeah.
5 to waver?
Yep.
So he did the Lightning Bolt.
I'd shoot it again and finish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Battle Shrine's going to continue its battle with the Mind Screech, which the Battle Shrine will beat the Mind Screech, right? That
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt 6 drum just keeps going. So it's fine. 6 should be a waiver.
Yeah. If that's what their nerve roll is.
So you're soaking up the lightning bolts, but that's not the unit that you want those lightning bolts going on, right? That's the one thing that you can kill, that 20 attack unit remover,
Right.
just getting chewed up with poke.
All right. Baron does 3 wounds to the scarecrows, which will certainly not be enough to kill them, but
Took away their thunderous.
sure. 4 wounds on 3 attacks.
Mike, from this angle, man, you look very similar. I
Do
wonder
we?
what it is.
Hmm.
What are you drinking?
Currently water, because I spent a lot of the day in the sun, so I'm rehydrating.
I
Because
brought
it was
a beer,
90
I'll have
degrees
to-
today.
Mhm.
I am also drinking water, but that's because I drank all the gin.
I spent all day at work and then more time at work. So I thought to myself, Rolling Rock, the cheap but tasty beer. Oh yeah, it's the sound of cold.
Hmm.
I also broke my free beer koozie I got from a vendor, so now I'm kind of sad.
All right, so where are we at here in those combats?
It looks like the winged arrowless put 5 wounds on the void lurker.
And it
Look
looks
at
like
that,
the pole arms. Scary, excuse me, guys. Sorry,
Hmm.
the pole
They
arms
did
did not
7
break.
wounds.
They did 7 wounds, but did not break,
Yeah.
which is kind of like meh.
so
Rashad's
they'll-
asking if we could click and cover top units. So sure, I'll do a quick walkthrough. So Brindley's got a Duke-on Airles over here on the left. He's got 2 Honor Guard kind of here in the middle. A Baron on Airles in between that, and a Pole Arms Horde that's fighting a Void Lurker, backed up by a Battle Shrine, and then a couple of Flying Wizards with Lightning. This Dogs of War unit just came off the hill and smacked this Terror for, it looks like 8. And then there's a Spearman Regiment that smacked the other Terror for a couple. And then there's another Honor Guard Horde, third one all the way over here on the right. That's just kind of hanging out.
That
on
Honor Guard
Michael.
Horde is in a rough spot now. Or not Honor Guard, sorry. The Dogs of War.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
ensnare model, regen 4 up, like it's going to go down to 4. And that's a -19 unit, right? That's why I like the flank charge. Bane Chant the flank. Try and pick it up in one hit. Because that really was one of the better shots he was going to have at picking it up. And that was without committing Honor Guard.
Yep.
In a one-on-one grind, there's a legitimate chance the Terror puts some serious work into the Dogs of War. Does it win? I don't think so. But
Check in on the clock real quick.
I feel like Brindley burned quite a bit of time.
Yep, so Brindley's down to
happens, though.
42 minutes out of 70, and Michael is starting his second turn with an hour still on his clock.
so he checked to see if the Reapers could fit. They can, but being wavered, it's not relevant. So real fast, I'll do my prediction. I think the Void Lurker might as well just stay and commit. It doesn't really have anywhere else to go. I think the Terror's gonna shuffle and multi-charge the regiment and pick it up. I think the Dread Fiend spins around and puts 10 attacks into the flanks of the Dogs of War. And I think the Scarecrows move up and
Can it
just...
though? Because this Terror in the middle can't actually see the back corner of the Spear Regiment.
So he actually can't do that.
If he disengages... Oh, because because the first Terror would... You could just disengage,
Yeah.
then declare a multi-charge.
Because if you look at what your line of
Looks
charge
like
is,
he's going for a double charge into the front of the Dogs of
Yeah.
War with the Terrors
I don't-
anyways.
I don't
Yeah, that's
know
what
if you
he's
make that fit.
Yeah.
And that's 2 charges into ensnare. That's rough.
Yeah.
Do it.
I mean, Terrors are melee 3. So
Yeah.
your 20 attacks on 4s plus 10 attacks on the flank on 3s with Dread, that's a chance to get it. But I say take the guaranteed kill on the air quotes guaranteed kill on the spear regiment. So you disengage the center Terror from where he was, and that lets you see the spearman, then you declare a multi-charge.
Yep.
But that's just me.
Yeah,
And
you back
I
up the
say
insets
that-
so you can see them. And
Having a
corkscrew into
lot
it
of
instead of the
practice
other
with
way.
a lot of practice with square bases, using the monster mash in second, and then the mincer troops now in third, and giants. I've just had a lot of practice on squares, and that's a tight turn to try and make with that Terror there on the spearman.
Yeah. But that's the thing too, is like that's why I loved 50 mil giants in second.
Me
They
too.
went wherever they wanted to go.
Yep, you had some practice playing those, didn't you, Ashley?
Yeah. It's not like
that was
somebody
what, a regen
named
roll?
Kyle wrote me a list.
Looks like he picked up regen 3 wounds off of the Terror that was fighting the Dogs of War.
Well, that's just rude.
It's not bad.
I almost said happy Friday and then remembered that it was Tuesday.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to Steve Hildrew. He'll cry. All right, but I don't know what Mike's gonna do. Michael's gonna do over here on the right, and my brain quit hurting. So
Yeah,
that's
it
my
seems like he's
suggestion on the right.
He's over there thinking, contemplating.
Yeah. I think.
Steve, what's your solution for the middle?
Oh, well, I think you've already committed. Well, he looks like he's disengaging. Just to kind of see what the Void Lurker can do, but the Void Lurker's pretty much already committed there to those or not failings, polearm guys, and his 7 wounds on him. He regens on a 4, so you're gonna take
Correct.
off 3. Yeah.
That's a dirty grind.
I
Yeah,
don't know. Because if he disengages, he could see
you can see one of the Pegasi.
the Pegasi, but only one, and he can't fit in between the
Yeah.
Pegasi and the polearm to get to it.
No,
Yeah.
he would see one bird boy and only one, and he cannot
And he-
get it.
And he can't back up enough to see the Baron.
Right.
But I guess he could try to multi-charge. Soul Flayers?
That's
Okay.
one way to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was gonna say the Soul Flayers into the Honor Guard to tie them up for another turn, but
Right.
so Soul
But whatever
Flayers are this
floats your
really
boat.
neat, thick chaff, not thick chaff utility unit. That isn't cheap.
Only picks
They
up one
cost more
regen
than a
on
Dread
Conflict.
Fiend.
Actually, the Void Lurker. Only regen 1 on the Void Lurker.
Yeah.
I have a report of a oh dude coming from the living room. So I don't know if that was a good or a bad dude, but
Or a surprise.
Or surprise.
a little shocker there.
Well, Brindley did set the arc on those Honor Guard to be able to see the corner of the Void Lurker.
And now
And
it
there's
can't, but
the
it can see the corner of Soul Flayers.
There's a chance the Baron was left in charge range of the Butchers. 12 inches.
are
I
they,
don't remember the
68?
original starting point, but there was a chance he was within 12.
Yeah.
Because Brindley did some pivoting and he may have pivoted it into 12. I did not check, so who knows? We'll find out, I guess, if the
We'll-
Butchers take the
we'll find
charge.
So
Tune in next week.
on the left, that Dread Fiend's combat with the winged doggo, the Dread Fiend probably just bails, and the Butchers go in.
Yeah.
That's what I would do 100%.
Yeah.
1 inch disengage, nimble, get out of the way, nimble again.
Basically,
Or
see
even
if you can
just
run
use
over
it
to the
to-
flank of this Honor Guard, like get out of their charge arc.
Yeah, and
If
just
you
kind of
can.
hang out there and be menacing and dreadful.
Wait.
Or
Wait to
you
flank the
could
battle
set
shrine
it
next turn.
right on the fence and say if the Honor Guard wants it, they have to choose between a Dread Fiend or the Reaper troop he moves up.
Right.
And you
What
could
do you
try
pick?
and pincer him. I pick. I don't know. That's a gamble, right? Because you're assuming the Butchers have to one-shot the Duke if you
Right.
take that play, or else the Honor
Yeah.
Guard just like, sure, I'll charge whatever you have. I'm fine with it.
Right.
So, I think the Dread Fiend in the flank is the stronger play because if you can pick up that Battle Shrine, it's a huge power source for Rhodia.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you've got a Dread Fiend behind you who is already in scoring position on like turn 3.
Very.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Reapers being wavered instead of dead is a bonus now because you have to choose. Do I shoot the Reapers for a third turn or do I start trying to poke down this 5-wound
Dread Fiend.
nuisance?
Yep.
So, and none of it matters if we're wrong because players will do whatever players want.
I guess
So it looks like the Butchers were not taking the flank charge on
Yeah.
the Baron in the middle, by the way. So they must have been out of 12. Reapers, Mind Thirsty.
Yep. And there he goes.
And probably see another Nimble here just to look across the field. Yep.
Yep.
So while he does that, then I guess Ashley and you, Mike, are the two who haven't really tried to decipher the right-handed flank cluster yet.
Hit the units, roll the dice. My expert opinion has been given. Take of it what
Wonderful
you
woman.
will. Actually, no, I was gonna say, I don't know. I feel like I didn't love Brindley's play not to do the double charge. I don't know if Michael missed taking that 1-inch disengage and then taking into the flank. He seems really like concerned about what to do with those terrors. He's gone back to them a couple times. Seems a little indecisive about what the best play is. But I think anytime that you can guarantee picking up a unit it tends to be a good play. Whereas it looks like he's kind of just playing for the grind there. But I don't know. I think
the scarecrows.
Yeah, definitely going to move up the scarecrows.
A unit. Oh, there's the double charge. Okay. Mike, do you think the Terran the Scarecrow in the front picks up that unit with Dread?
I think scarecrows and Dreadfiend in the front. Well, the Dreadfiend will go into the flank, right?
Well, it'll probably go into the Dogs of War or the honor guard, but either way, it's probably close enough to put Dread on the Spearman.
Yes, I think so. So yeah, like in my mind, it's a question of like, do you put the scarecrows in front of the honor guard, or do you put the Dreadfiend in front of the honor guard? And like for me, I think I would like send the Dreadfiend into the flank of the Dogs of War. I would double charge the terrors into the spearmen, like back the one that's currently engaged with the Dogs of War up, corkscrew him into the flank of the other one, and then push the scarecrows as far forward as I could to basically screen everything from the honor guard for another turn. That way the Dreadfiend's dread is on both infantry units, and
Or
the terrors
don't
are like
do any
together.
of that.
Yeah.
Or don't do any of that. Just do something completely different.
So
Yeah, dude.
the fact
What do we
that me and you agreed on it, so I'll take that as a great compliment because you're a phenomenal player. I guess the follow-up question has to become in Michael's mind: does the Dreadfiend survive a round of combat with the honor guard? Does he live one round?
Yeah, I don't know.
If
Well,
he
he
strips
gets
the
to hit him
Thunderous-
first. Right.
Yeah, and if he's going to strip the Thunderous, they're only crushing one, or are they crushing
Yeah,
two?
but the Dreadfiend is what?
Honor guard are
defense
crush
4?
1, thunder 2.
Okay, so you're at a Thunderous charge, 18 attacks. That's 3s and 3s.
But
14,
still a pretty
16.
reasonable amount of damage.
Yeah, it's just
The difference between like going on 3s and 3s and 3s and 2s isn't insanely different, I don't think, in that context.
Felix says Tuesdays are the worst Fridays.
You are right, Felix. They are the worst Fridays. It's not even my fake Friday. I have to work tomorrow too.
Hey, YouTube chat, what are you guys drinking tonight? Rashad's probably drinking the fumes of oil paint.
Well, it's still only 6 p.m. in California. He may have just gotten off work.
It's
I
fair.
stand.
That doesn't
I stand
stop
by
you from
what Kyle
drinking.
said.
Doesn't stop him from drinking. It just means that, he might be finishing up whatever he started drinking at lunch.
I drink on European time,
There you go.
which is always.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
If you wait for 5, you've wasted most of the day.
Yeah, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so it doesn't matter if
So-
it's 10 a.m.
Shooting, I guess, was very uneventful. Did 2
Yeah.
more wounds on the wizard, but no waiver.
Did those butchers
melee.
just completely whiff on the Duke on the left?
Those butchers did only
Oh.
5 hits and only
wound.
2 wounds, and then Iron
Right,
Resolve
back.
back,
yeah.
which is now a very disgusting flank from Honor Guard.
Ooh,
Yeah.
damn. That's a
And the
juicy
Reapers
flank.
are not in the Reaper troop didn't get put in a position like on the hill to say charge me or charge the butchers.
Yeah, they're
So-
threatening the Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what we might see honestly is the Baron into the Reapers, the Honor Guard into the butchers, and then the other Honor Guard into the other butchers, and we could sort of see a left flank cleanup. I like all the charges and the moves. I don't like where Michael put that Reaper troop. You put it on the hill and you just stare at it and you say, you can charge me, or I will charge you.
Yep.
He-
So it seems like Michael Pearcy might be taking a beat here after the butchers did basically nothing against the dragon, just to compose his thoughts and figure out what he wants to do next. Sometimes when something like that happens, you're like, I'm just gonna take a minute.
Yep.
Just gonna breathe
You
through it.
what's the phrase they used last time that we talked about? He didn't ask a question with that Reaper troop. It's not making Brindley choose an answer.
Right.
And he rolled bad, which always sucks.
Looks like he's moved on to the Soul Flayers and the Void Lurker on these pole arms on the hill.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We
do
don't
some
pull
wounds.
arms. Looks like 4 war.
5 more. Nope. Yeah.
Mm.
Because they're only defense like nothing.
Yeah, their defense water.
A 10
10
rolled
gets a
followed by a 4.
4.
Yeah.
20.
Praise flag guys. Oh yeah, and they're rally too right now, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That unit normally being 2022, so now
22,
22, 24, no waiver.
also, guys, when we were talking about this at the beginning of the game, we mentioned Brindley has a lot of inspiring that is 9 inches. I feel like that's a bit of an advantage when you're playing against Night Stalkers, is that you might be able to get your units in inspiring without letting his units get the inspiring more often than when you have the 6-inch. You know what I mean? Like, you could be farther away from your units and still inspire them and not end up inspiring your opponent.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Does that make
agree.
sense?
Or you slam your Baron right in the middle of the Scarecrow horde.
Also,
But
that's a
you're
side
right.
note.
Say I'm over.
I was just thinking
very-
back to that discussion that we had, and then now
You're
I'm
right.
like,
Scarecrow's doing 2 wounds to that Baron we were just talking about, and
oh,
then
that poor
rolling a
little
7 for
Baron.
nurse. So he Iron
Yeah.
resolves 1 back,
Baby Baron.
I think, or does he
Does
not
that
have
Baron
Iron?
have Iron Resolve?
I think he doesn't. I think Brindley just tried to slip 1 past him.
Yeah.
He
He
caught
does
it.
not. Yep. Only the fancy guy has it.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, Ashley. That very inspiring lets you
Ooh.
do sexy shenanigans. And also Rashad says it's like how I read my mind. Sean says an old fashioned with legit bourbon, which if I can't pronounce it, I can't afford it. Felix says 9 inches is better than 6. Confirmed. There it is.
I have
I was
confirmed
wondering if
another
they could
inappropriate thing
make-
said by Ashley on livecast. You're welcome.
It's just-
Continuing with the
everything.
combats over here on the right, the
Oh,
terrors
yes,
into
yes.
the infantry units along with scarecrows.
Looks
Still
like
looking for first blood in this game, I think. Nobody's actually picked anything up yet, right?
That'll change.
so. That looks like the terror did 3 wounds onto the Dogs of War horde.
Yep.
The ensnare coming in huge, taking him from 3 hits to 5?
8 to 5.
Oh, wrong attack. Wrong one. But yeah, 8 to 5.
There you go.
The spear unit here, he's really counting on the scarecrows to swing above their weight.
They
It
do
looks like
7.
they are 13 hits. And then,
Scarecrow's
7
coming in
more.
strong.
well, if you're going to do a strategy that no one agreed with, just roll well.
I think they
And followed by
did.
6. That should do it.
Yes.
And there's a great example, by the way. If we click on the bannerman, he was inspiring the spearman, but not inspiring the scarecrow horde. So Ashley and her bullshit observational skills coming in clutch.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Now, what really matters is this Dreadfiend needs to do a wound to have a chance to live next turn.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't kill it, he needs to do a wound. And I say sidestep with the terror and try and get closer to that flank arc. Yep. There it is. So now if the dogs don't kill the terror, they'll be flanked by terrors and scarecrows, potentially.
Let's.
That
Michael
will
got
put
the 2 wounds on the. Well, good.
2
There's
wounds
on the one.
won't do it, but it strips that thunder.
Yeah, it's just
Now-
all it
thunder.
needs.
It also does sort of force the question, does the banner bearer now loot the dogs of war, or does he need to bane chant the honor guard just to get that Dreadfiend out of the way?
Just to blow through the Dreadfiend. I would definitely blow through that Dreadfiend if I could.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just stand there.
Yeah. Because the honor guard's also in range of the terror if
The other terror,
Michael
yeah.
was so inclined to try and terror the front and flank with scarecrows. Now 60 attacks on the flank, still not scary, but you're at the territory now where weight of dice becomes problematic.
Yep.
Mhm.
Which is good for Michael. He needs to have a flank where he's asking questions, because on the left side, I really think
Yeah.
that I know the Butcher's underperformed, but I really think the Reaper troop positioning was a mistake. Put it on the hill and make it in a threat and say, what are you going to do? And I say that also knowing full well that there's literally a Baron right there that was just going to charge the Reapers wherever they went.
Right.
Yep.
But maybe he doesn't kill that troop on its own. So
Yeah, it's going to be hindered. Yeah, they'll be hindered.
it's very interesting not seeing a bunch of chaff in a Night Stalker list.
Yeah, that was kind of my point at the beginning. I mean, Night Stalkers have access to one of the top chat pieces in the Phantom Troops, and there are none.
Yep. So one thing, that Baron that is in range of the Reapers, though, if it takes that charge, it's only 5 attacks without Strider, so it will be hindered into the Reapers, and the Reapers don't suck on the counter charge.
No, I mean that's 20 attacks with crushing
20
one.
Very good attacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think he pops the boots here. I think you.
No, you have.
I think you just take the flank. You keep the Baron in the front, and you just dice it down.
Yeah.
And then
Well, you don't need to, right? You're Thunderous too, so you're still winning on 2s, right?
You only lose 1, right?
Yeah. Well, Butchers are defense 5, so they'll be winning on 3s.
Well, you and your facts.
Still in the flank.
Yeah,
It's a lot of attacks.
Yeah, 36 4s and 3s is
4s and 3s is still pretty good.
Dash 18, kind of thick, but
Yeah,
I don't think
no
it
boots.
matters. I think you're still non-existent.
Mhm.
Let's
And
check in
there's
on the
nothing to
clock
respond to that.
state real quick. See where we are. So time about even going into the top of turn 3. Michael took his time with some stuff, but also had a lot of dice to roll that turn.
Yep, no boots.
Also,
game.
the second turn tends to be the longest, anyways. I find.
Yeah, second and third terms are usually where all the big decisions have to be made, and like Paige says, you're asking a lot of questions at that point, so you have to make a lot of decisions, and so yeah,
So, Michael, if you're Brindley, how do you handle the middle? Because that polearm horde is gone next turn. How do you handle the middle right now?
Well, let me see. You got some butchers, soul flayers, avoid lurker, scarecrows that are stuck, reapers that you're trying to bring in. I don't know. I don't know that I have a great play in the middle. I think the middle was sort of a delay tactic, like a get up in his face, hold him back, give you some room to work. I think you keep holding and wait for you to win that right flank, because the left flank is in trouble. So I think you keep trying to delay in the middle until you've won the right flank and wait for those reinforcements to come over, because he doesn't really have any strong plays in the middle right now, aside from the Dreadfiend coming all the way from downtown, right? Let's see if he's actually got range on that Battle Shrine. 3, 6, 9, 12, 18. Now he's not going to be able to get to it this turn. He can maybe get to the flank of Honor Guard and hindered, which might be something that he has to do just to strip their Thunderous.
It's worth noting too, even though the Reaper's front is in arc of that Dreadfiend, if he charges with only the Baron, I actually don't think the Baron's centers gets him within 16, right? 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think even the Baron charging the Reaper will actually be out of 16 on that Dreadfiend up there on the left. So that Dreadfiend may not actually have a charge next turn, which is pretty important in a game this punchy.
Yeah.
Operation Chaff Wizard.
But do you even if there was a charge coming down, would you really want to charge back onto your own side of the board for like a mediocre target anyways?
He's fast.
Yeah,
it's early in the game. He's fast.
And nimble. He'll just zip around and run wherever he goes. They're fine.
All right, smarty pants.
I think on turn 5 you don't, but this early in the game, right? If you kill that big model, that's unit strength, and then those Reapers are free now, right? If you kill it. So I would definitely take the charge to free up Reapers and just sing Freebird all day as they charge everything with crushing 1 on 20 attacks.
Well, it's a long enough song. You got plenty of time to sing it.
Especially if Brindley's moving. Oh. I do like Operation Sacrificial Wizard. Choosing the Lightning Bolt 6 wizard over the utility wizard is also really important because you never know on turn 6 if you need to heal that unit just to survive the poke, right? And hope it scores. So even though that Lightning Bolt 6 wizard is super important, keeping the utility guy behind is, I think, the better call.
Utility boy.
I don't know if it's enough, but it'll definitely die.
It gonna be dead.
Let's see what YouTube has to say about us from downtown Boom Shakalaka. Felix with the witty wonder.
Yes.
So I think as of right now, they are tied unit strength-wise. Because Brindley lost that spear regiment, so that brought them down to even.
Well, I think we also know that there's another horde that's gonna probably die.
Yeah.
I do not like that charge from Brindley at all.
Yeah, no, me neither.
You have a butcher horde there that he could have picked up,
Yeah,
or at least done a very good job of scaring.
Do you think he
And the
just
other
likes the positioning better post the combat?
I don't at all, because maybe he didn't realize the Dread Fiend has 16, because 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, even if he reforms on center, I think he ends up in range of that Dread Fiend. The thing I
Yeah.
wonder if maybe he's worried about that Reaper troop not being wavered anymore, but he still has enough Lightning Bolt to force a waver on that Reaper troop or force a kill.
yeah. As long as the battle shrine is back there, he's got enough lightning he can throw over the hill.
Or hell, at this point, he could disengage his Baron with Blade of Slashing and just run around and tap the Reapers or charge the Mind Screech at this point too.
Yeah.
So
Tippity tap the Reaper boys.
I think the Honor Guard into the Butcher Horde, Baron on the Chocobo into the Reaper troop might have been a stronger board position, because also the Honor Guard has now basically moved itself a full move away from the battle.
Right.
Well, I think it's also important to note that like Brindley does not play this list at all.
Yeah. Although it has Pathfinder, so my logical observation about the Reapers being alive is null and void.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be alive. I think they're going to be
No. But I don't know if he can reform. And if that Dread Fiend gets a rear charge, that's a real chance to pick up Honor Guard.
Yeah.
Ugh.
15 on threes into threes with Dread and Vicious is not a happy place to be.
Yeah, no, I think I would have sent the Baron into the front of this Reaper troop and sent the Honor Guard into the flank of the Butchers to pick them up.
Mhm.
And
I think it was
gotten all the way
a
out of-
front. It was a front, but they're still in the front.
Yeah. Even then,
I
I think
guess-
I still would have done it.
Well, I guess the risk, right, is if you don't pick up the Butchers in the front, then they have a flank on you.
Sure, because you can't quite fit.
Ooh, yeah,
But at the same time, he did also have a flank on the Soul Flare regiment. So he had lots of choices with that Honor Guard horde. They
Yeah.
could have just instantly picked up the Soul Flare, had this polearm go back into the Void Lurker, and hope you try and knock out the middle. So
I mean,
who knows?
It's not a terrible move if he can reposition these Honor Guard, assuming they kill the Reapers. If he can reposition them out of range of the Dread Fiend and like looking at the flank of the Butchers, or
for
the,
sure.
or the Scarecrows,
Well,
or the other
also,
Reapers. If he can pull it off, then that's fine. Because he's also left nothing for this Central Butcher Horde regiment to really do next turn, other than charge over a hill at a battle shrine, maybe. Like that's it.
If you get stuff out of the way.
Right.
But that polearm's still going to be there, right? So they'll still be in the way.
question.
So I don't. Yep.
Can I see the arc on the Archfiend up in the top left there?
The Dread Fiend.
Dread Fiend, that thingy.
Sure.
I just wanted to see where the arc was. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
wondering if.
Yeah, it pretty much goes right across the front of.
Yeah, there's no way
yes.
they're getting out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So a couple
12,
more
13,
lightning
14,
shots
15,
from
16.
couple more lightning bolts from this wizard onto the Mind Screech, look like. And now he's trying to decide what to shoot at with the battle shrine, possibly the same unit, the Mind Screech, or possibly hitting these back Reapers that have just sat around wavered the whole game.
I think that is a weird call to shoot the Mind Screech when you have the Reapers back there.
Yeah.
And
Because if you don't waver them, the Scarecrows can sidestep. because it looks like everything's centered up, right? Like leader point. So it's player's choice. The Scarecrows go to the left. Those Reapers can get in, and he will definitely kill the Baron with a Reaper troop. And now that unit's free to look at stuff.
Apparently the train is leaving station. We got a toot toot. I'm assuming that says toot toot. I'm really blind, okay?
It says toot toot.
It does say toot toot.
I would have been real.
Bane chant
real
into
embarrassing.
the polearms horde, so they'll be crushed 2 now.
Ooh. And they popped Indomitable Will too.
Nerve check there. That'll be an 8. Probably need to roll it again because the Baron's there to inspire him. I don't know what's nerve on a
Mind Screeches are 13, 15.
15.
Oh, yep. But that will
Still
pick it up
an
with the second 8. Yep. So he
There
at
you
least
go.
did convert and get rid of the Mind Screech, so that's good.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a waste of those shots.
He did.
All the brilliant commentary in the world, foiled by dice. Ah!
Like I love how like everyone we get super analytical and we like explain everything. We're like, this is what's gonna happen and this is why he's doing this, and then like dice get all up and we're like, never mind, I got no clue what anyone's doing anymore. Okay,
Well, this is why it's a game, right?
that's why it's a game. If we knew everything that was gonna happen, it wouldn't be nearly as much fun.
Meanwhile, honor guard in the flank.
That's. I think they're okay.
I think they made it.
Yeah.
Damage in the flank.
It's only 9 damage. Yeah, they're good.
They
They also
They
rolled
tanked-
like a 3 for nerve check, didn't they?
Yeah,
the 3
was-
for nerve,
super low.
and then the Baron in the front did almost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure if you had rolled like a 5, they would have been dead, right? So it's just like
The Reapers are dead.
Yeah, the Reapers are very dead. So now let's see how this
Yeah.
reform plays out.
This is super important.
Well, I think someone else made a good point
12,
once too. Is
13,
like when you're
14,
playing
15,
on a tabletop,
16.
it's really hard to miss a model like that that's hanging out on your side of the board. Whereas in UB, sometimes it's like you don't
It vanishes.
notice it there. It vanishes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like I saw someone get like rear charged by like a slasher, and they're like, I totally didn't even realize that was on my side of the board. Like I just
Right.
forgot it was there, but hanging out back there. But whereas if you're on a table, you're reaching over that model, you know it's there. And if you don't, you've been
And it
drinking.
It's also kind of blends in. You know, you can make it so blends in with the with the
Terrain,
grass.
etc.
So it looks like he's turned just enough that the Dread Fiend is in the flank of the honor guard, not the rear, but has
Yes.
left it in range.
So
Yeah, I
you
think that's
probably
probably
don't
the
pick
best
it up,
way
but
to
you
do
have and he
You heard
didn't
it.
declare Indomitable Will on that unit either.
Yeah.
No, there's
But there's
Well,
inspiring there.
He could do it
Yeah.
next turn
yeah.
if he gets wavered. So
So
Yeah, if
if
he
you
gets
have
wavered, he can-
inspiring there, it's better to pop your Indomitable Will on your turn because you already are going to use the inspiring roll. And then if you get wavered, you pop it and you blow off the waiver anyways.
yeah.
Right.
And there goes the Void Lurker, looks like.
Down
That
goes
Bane chant.
Frazier.
Converting exactly 0 additional wounds,
Yep.
as all good Bane chants do. But that's huge, right? That's a lot of
Yeah.
wounds to do. 13. But I guess when you're doing 4s into 2s on 25 dice, you still expect that Void Lurker to die.
Oh, yeah.
But is that a good trade, you think? Right, 1 unit strength for a horde in a mission like Invade?
I don't know.
Well, it depends. Is Brindley remembering to play the scenario or is he playing, well, if my opponent's dead, the scenario doesn't matter?
I think when your opponent's on their half of the board, he's accidentally playing the scenario, Ashley.
Yeah.
so that was
just
that
by
was 17
kind of
hits from the
happenstance.
honor guard on the Dread Fiend.
Yeah.
That is a
For total
lot.
of 11
Yeah, it's a
wounds.
lot. Yeah, 11. So you have 5 to take it off.
Ooh.
That's
He has to
5.
do it once
Also-
because I don't think that Pegasus inspires.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Also, you should have heard the yes that just came out of the living room. That was so good.
6. Now
You're only getting
the
hyped.
Yeah.
the
It's true,
scarecrows.
I don't hear him all the time. I just hear when he shouts. So-
The scarecrows are definitely in range of the honor guard, though. Even with a full backup, it's a really good chance that those scarecrows get to go in.
Oh yeah.
And it's not what the honor guard want, right? So
No, they don't want to
Can
be
we
stuck
zoom
fighting
into what they're
something.
checking here?
I think
I
they're
think they're
checking to see if he can make a charge.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, I just want to see the angle a little more.
Yeah. Can you pivot and not? Well, the terror is kind of in the way, but if you move the terror first, you can
Right.
get past the Pegasus.
Yeah.
And
There's
from where
not
they're at, if the terror flanks the Pegasus, he's actually even more out of the way than he is now.
right.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
see, now they're just seeing. Okay, if I back up the whole
Just
way.
backing up. 3,
6,
6,
7,
9,
8, 9, 10.
10 would get him
Needs
out.
he'd need a
Yeah.
D3 on the wild
Yeah.
charge, right?
Yeah,
He'd need a 5 or
Yeah,
a 6.
But
And he
Brindley
got the
gets all
full
of it on the
backup
backup.
distance.
So we'll see if he hits the table edge before he gets all the way back, and he does not.
Yep.
So he gets the full 3 inches.
I guess basically whatever Brindley rolled on the
That's what she
backup is
said.
what Mike would have to roll on the charge range.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're rolling the dogs of
9,
war.
10. Actually, that doesn't look like a lot, right? Our Scarecrow's 5? Moving 5?
Only
Moving
4.
4.
Oh, they're moving 4. I see.
Moving 4 with wild charge D3.
Ooh, we.
2, 3,
That
so-
terror only at 10. He's
Yeah,
gonna
what
heal, 4 of
happened?
that back.
Yeah.
Ensnare happened.
Yeah.
And no crushing now, and no thunderous.
That's fair.
Or well,
So
still
it's like-
crushing, but no
Well, no,
thunderous.
because
Yeah.
even then, how many? What do dogs of war hit?
No
on?
crushing.
They
hit on
hit on
fours.
4s. But he tanked the roll.
Yeah.
He rolled 12 fours.
But the ensnare.
Oh right, yes. Yeah, so
The terror ensnares.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dogs are
I
this
was like-
amazing
I thought you meant like
defense
4
unit.
after the ensnare there for a sec. 'Cause I was like, but that why did he only roll 6 dice?
Yeah, and I agree with this call to bane chant the polearm horde and go for that terror. Like you want that, or not the terror, the dread
Whatever.
fiend out of the
Thing
way.
of
You want
love.
that gone, or whatever it's called. I don't know, the flappy guy.
The
Yeah.
Void Lurker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
that
thanks, Mike.
You and your smartness.
I don't use words. Goblins are super impy. The sharp sticks are sharp. Spitters, like everything makes sense.
Right.
All these
Right.
units,
Whereas the Night Stalker unit names are like they put spooky words on a dartboard and
And
just
yeah.
threw 2 or 3.
All right,
and
guys,
said, That's
we
it.
got this concept art. What should we name it?
Yeah.
Funk.
Fiends.
Looks like we're naming this one Butcher.
Yes. I do like
Then they
some of
look
the
at
names
it-
of, like doppelgangers and the butchers. It's kind of fun.
This one's gonna be called
Doppelgangers
a
makes sense.
Yeah.
Void
Well, obviously the other
Yeah.
one.
Lurker.
You
Soul
know those,
Player's
like,
doing
really
the old
dorky Facebook things that come up and it's like your first letter of your name and then your birth month and this and
Oh,
that's your whatever name.
this
That's
is
how they
really-
use this.
important. Michael either didn't see or opted not to take the flank charge with that wounded Dreadfiend.
Let's just
Yeah, he
Ooh,
just
he's
trucked
going
right on
after the
past it.
battle shrine. He's
Yeah.
going battle shrine hunting.
And the Soul Flayers
So much,
have
in
just
fact, that I
jumped
was
over.
rechecking the speed to make sure we weren't crazy. It is, in fact, speed 8.
yeah, they're that's wow.
Now, is that a good board position? Yes. Is it good enough to pass up doing 10 attacks with Dread on an Honor Guard horde that's worth 3 unit strength?
in invade when it's already on your side of the table?
I don't know.
I think so. Well,
So-
yeah. So here comes the Scarecrows getting out of the way, so the Reapers can finally do something if they can
Maybe.
get around,
And
and then they cannot.
Joke's
Sorry,
on
that
you.
was like a really rude laugh.
And that guy's expensive, so I bet he's mighty. Everything's good,
Oh.
right? No. It's an individual. Did he do wounds to the scare? Oh, he did do wounds to Scarecrows.
Yeah, he's just fixing changing it from the 3s to the 6, just
Yeah.
for ease.
Tidying up.
Tidying up his
Tidying
little
up, as it were.
things.
My brilliant observation. Foiled again.
Now, which way do you go?
Uh,
See, I don't think I would go that way.
I think he's just
Why?
going to try and get in charge range of the dogs. Take the hindered and snare.
Yeah, but then you're still probably gonna just lose that grind eventually, anyways, and you're gonna be stuck on your side of the table.
He got 5 back from the regen.
Of course,
All
you
right,
did.
that's pretty good.
Get
Mhm.
you average players and your average
Average
dice and your
dice.
average regen.
Okay, you take your average beard over there, Pool.
Ouch.
Oof.
I thought it was below average. Actually, that's a compliment. I'll take it.
You have to evaluate everyone's beard in the context of the quarantine. Like all previous
Yours
beer
looks very
beer
well
standards.
groomed, Mike.
are-
Do you?
Well, yeah,
do you
'cause
do
it's-
yours?
gotten hot, so I cut mine back a week or so ago when the temperature
I
started
made the
going up, 'cause it's-
mistake of
I think
shaving
mine looks pretty good.
just the under part of the beard, like all the volume. I shaved it one day, and I was like, "Oh crap! Now my beard just has no layers."
Oh, this is interesting. So the scarecrow's into the front.
They didn't get the charge.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, I'm assuming they
I
checked
see.
to agree that the terror couldn't fit in the flank of the Dogs of War.
Yeah,
I
without getting the.
assume- Yeah.
So you know,
So
that
this way,
wizard's gone.
that's not so bad, right? The wizard's gone. Then the scarecrows can easily pivot to be in the face of the Dogs of War.
and the terror
and
can literally
that-
just stay there almost.
Yeah,
Right.
because he'd be able to see the. Well, no, he'd probably want to turn a smidge so he can see the Dogs of War unit.
Blank.
See
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
And at worst case, right now he's saying, "Hey, you got to move your banner bearer, or I'll put my terror up there and be
Mhm.
behind your lines."
Yeah, because the soul
So-
flayers. Oh wait, no, the soul flayers can see it.
Now
They
this
can.
is when, yeah, this is when like those scarecrows and stuff rolling double ones on that wizard would just be a sad moment for Michael.
That'd be a very sad moment.
Ashley,
It would-
are you picking your called shot?
Are you wasting your snakes now on that? Is
Yeah.
that what you're calling it? You're saying it's
Yeah.
gonna
No,
happen?
I'm just saying it would be sad, and it would probably be like not necessarily the end of the world, but it would be sad.
Do you think Michael's butcher horde on the left goes into the horde or goes into the duke? I think you go in the horde, right?
Yeah.
And just hope you pop that horde.
Yeah, you could hope for the nutso, or you put as much damage as you can on them before they ultimately die next turn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's
You're trying to just get some value out of them.
You're trying to get some
Yeah.
value out of them. It's a unit strength based scenario, so yeah, and it's not like the Duke is in trouble from wounds
No.
moment either. So yeah, I guess you go after the higher unit strength unit and hope you get lucky. Because that flank is basically done. Like Brindley has pretty much won that left flank at this
Yeah.
point.
Because looking at their nerve and their defense, if you get hot on the duke, cool, you kill it. If you get hot on the horde, cool, you kill it. But that's 3 unit strength versus 1, right? So
Right.
And
much
that
bigger
was him. That was him going into the Duke and just doing average dice. And a 4 on the nerve check will definitely not pick him up. So
Yeah.
they leave their flank exposed to the honor guard.
they're gone. I mean, at that
Oh.
point, those wounds doesn't matter who you give your flank to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're so heavily wounded. Because what is he at?
But he does at
there?
least keep the
13.
He
does
keeps
at
the
least
fly off, right?
ground the Duke, right? He keeps the fly off for a turn. But like
And
the
he
rest
also
of this
like
side
keeps
is
it's
over.
going to be a hindered charge again on the flank. 'Cause of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
vent.
that's true.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going
Um,
to change much when right now all he needs is a 5 to kill him anyways.
Yeah, you just need a
Yep.
wound to do a check.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you don't.
So
Oh,
this
he
is-
might have actually got the Baron there.
Yeah,
Yep, he
picked
got
up
it.
I
there.
think
Yeah,
he did.
got it.
I think he did.
And you
Well
definitely
done,
turned to face
Scarecrows.
the incoming
Well-
charges there.
Yes, 100%.
So on the
Oh, I
left,
always
like
thought you
butchers
would-
versus the flyer, butchers versus the horde. That's sort of a. I can make arguments either way, right? You turn off the fly versus you go for the hot dice. The only play I think I disagree with vehemently is I do not like not taking the 10 attacks on 3s into 3s with vicious into the flank of that honor
Of
guard
the honor
horde.
guard with the Dread Fiend,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I wonder if it was just something that he didn't see. Like, I don't know if it was
Yeah.
like a not a decision or if it was just he didn't see it.
All right,
Which-
more wounds from the butchers and an 11 followed by a 7 on the board in the
Yeah.
middle, and that picks them
Yeah.
up.
I was going to say, I'm like, I feel like they did.
Because now that honor guard horde into the butchers is going to have Thunderous to crush 1. He can throw the Baron down into the scarecrows.
And the scarecrows, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
and
And
hold
again,
them.
he's not asking questions. And if you look at the arc he has on that Dread Fiend, it's not even threatening a flank on the honor guard next turn.
No,
So
it's basically
it's-
just going to eat this battle shrine, and that's it. Which
Which is
if
cool,
he-
right?
If he could have done
Yes.
that this turn and then turned to face the stuff going on in the middle, that would have been great. But he's going to spend another turn doing it, and whatever's going to happen in the middle is going to be done by the time
Well,
the Dread
and
Fiend
aren't
is
those,
called
like,
again.
those battle shrines aren't, like, terribly
But-
weak, are they?
They're defense 5.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it's defense 5, right? And it's dash
Battle
14.
Shrine, defense
Battle Shrine.
5-14, rally 2.
So is even there a chance that he maybe just doesn't pick it up this turn too?
10 attacks on 3s with Crush 2.
Threes with Vicious. It's
And
going to
Dread.
hurt and Dread, so it's really only dash 13.
Yeah.
Right.
It's probably dead. But the thing is, if he charges the flank of that horde, the Butchers probably don't die.
Right.
Crush 1 into Butchers, they probably don't die. But you let them wound on 3s into 2s, I think the Butchers are gone.
So the Terror only did a couple of wounds on those Dogs of War this time.
And we can't even blame Ensnare on that one, it looks like.
Bad. Just bad rolling.
Just sad dice.
Rolled 2 4s.
I think we're gonna have
pluses.
to change our hashtag from UB dice to sad dice because that seems to
Sad
be where
dice.
it goes. Sad dice.
Hot dice, cold dice, yeah.
That Pegasus will be having a very bad day.
I
And a
take
9 and
it
a
on
10.
the- Ouch.
All right, so now obviously you're going to turn the Scarecrows to face those honor guard far or on the right. What do you do with the Terror? Do you turn to face the flank? Do you just keep staring down the honor
I
guard?
think you
turn to
pivot
face the middle?
straight up the board so it can see
Both. Yeah.
everything. And it
Yeah.
has a better angle, right? Like if you realize all of a sudden, oh, they rolled really good, you just book it for that unit strength.
Right.
You
Yeah.
just take off.
So
Let's see what
when he finishes this up,
Oh.
can we do a time check? As
yeah,
per
Felix is
requested?
demanding the time check actually with the
There was an
exclamation point.
exclamation mark. Yeah.
You need to calm down, sir.
I'm sorry. The only thing that needs
Calm
to calm
your
down
titty.
is my love for that cat in Steve's picture.
Yeah.
Steve, has your cat ever impeded on one of our battle reports? Or our UB games, I should say?
Yes.
Good.
All the
Is it-
time.
Is it all the time that you beat me is when the cat's there?
I've never beaten you, so yeah.
Okay. Wait, yeah, you have.
Have I?
I don't know. I play a lot of Universal Battle, man.
Yeah, me too.
You're always fun though. If you guys are bored, play Steve. Dice Dad Steve.
Mhm.
He's legitimately fun.
Quality, all the way.
Quality. I wouldn't say he's a stand-up guy, but he rolls his dice at a good pace.
Yeah.
And that's worth its weight, man. So I'm sure what's happening right now is he's doing those secret pivots where you can't see when it's done, and he's just trying to decide what angle is just right.
Yep.
And the Terror looking forward. Now, ironically,
As
he has
you
now
wanted.
blocked its movement with the Scarecrow Horde, right?
With the
I think you have to
Scarecrows, yeah.
pivot a little more.
Which might be what he's about to try to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would pivot the Scarecrows because there's no reason to not.
There's no
Make the
reason
angle a
to
little more
deny
clear.
yourself the option to double time forward if you need to.
Right.
I don't see why you don't take the flank there, right, and kill him. But what Brindley could do, because he's given himself so little room, he could actually choose to disengage the Dogs of War,
Mm-hmm.
charge the Honor Guard in, and now that Terror basically has to go into the Honor Guard instead of the flank of the Dogs of War because you just can't reach it, and the Scarecrows don't have a way to accommodate a shuffle like that. Whereas if you just pivot, another few degrees, maybe another inch or so, it takes away. So
And-
again, he's not asking questions of Brindley right now.
Right, and
And it-
Brindley has so much room to work around that Dogs of War because everything that Michael has left is looking a different direction or is behind a house
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
Yeah, he can simply disengage and sidestep. He can disengage and move.
without stepping into flank charge range of something else to threaten
Right.
it.
Yeah. He's got a lot of opportunity that sort of Michael pinned himself in over there, which I have done a lot with goblins. Do not let me fool you. But it also, after game after game after game of going, damn it, I'm stuck. Damn it, I'm stuck. It's things you start to look for, like intuitively, right?
Yeah.
I have this feeling. Did we move on to the top of 4?
We
They
did.
may have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave it to
I
Brindley to
don't know
not
if they
tell
put
us.
the marker in. They might not have told us.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He doesn't.
Let's do a,
Michael, you've played with some
I'll
pretty sort of intricate angled units before. You get caught, right? It just happens.
get caught. So here, top of 4. They started with 70 minutes, so they both burned through a little more than half of their clocks. And Brindley's a few minutes down, and it's his turn.
I think they're doing pretty well on time then, looking at that
I think so.
compared to what's left on the board, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, plus they said they weren't playing like a hard clock, right? They
Right.
weren't too worried. They
Just-
just wanted to give it a try and see how they play it out on time.
Yeah, they gave themselves
So-
70 minutes, not counting deployment, like clock starting after they finished deployment.
Yeah.
I do
We have
have
seen games be longer than that, though.
I do have a question to pose to the panel. Taking the battle shrine into the flank of the butchers, knowing that now the honor guard are 3s into 2s, do you think it might have been better to just take the battle shrine and the Pegasus and put lightning bolt 10 into the Dreadfiend that's wounded and try and get rid of it
Yes.
Yes.
instead of contributing maybe 2 wound? What does it even?
Yeah.
Does it even have melee stats?
I
Is it
can
even
get
helpful?
Yeah,
I will
it's
tell you.
Crushing 1.
It's got 6 attacks and on 4s with crushing 1, so it's in the flank. 12 attacks on 4s. I don't
Okay,
I
so
don't know
it's-
that they need it.
It's not an inconsequential boost, but I'm looking at 18 attacks on 3s into 2s.
But then again, if that's like the 2 or 3 wounds that pushes it over the edge, do you take it for the extra little bit of oomph, or do you? I don't know.
I think I
I-
just lightning.
I think
Dread
if the
Fiend-
butchers countercharge, you still live. You kill that Dreadfiend.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
Well,
Yeah.
because how much is lightning is left on the wizard that's alive? 3.
3.
3 with a reroll of any miss.
Yeah.
Right.
So
so
But the battle shrine
effectively
is 6. Like,
Yeah.
So you're
it's like,
technically throwing lightning bolt 10 at it, and the
Right.
Dreadfiend with 5 wounds already, like you have a good chance to, or waver that guy. They can be wavered.
if you
Yeah.
Now watch we say that, and then the battle shrine does like 7 wounds, and the knights tank it, and we're wrong for like 7 of 7 predictions.
I mean,
Right.
are you wrong or are we wrong, Kyle?
If I'm wrong, it's always we, because I am a royal presence as Dino Lord. I believe my name says Dino Lord.
Mhm.
Ashley,
I think it's the dice that are wrong. I think we were correct, and the dice just failed
Yeah.
to behave appropriately.
that
Right.
I would drink to, Mike. I mean, I would have drank to anything, but I'll drink to that.
We'll drink to that too.
I'll
Cheers.
drink some water to that.
Looks like that was what, a Bane chant
Diet Coke.
cast
Toot.
on Dogs of
Sorry.
War, probably.
Well, when you have nothing else to Bane chant, you might as well Bane chant the Dogs of War.
Right. Nothing
I've
else really
always
needs it. You're wounding everything on 2s already, so
Doesn't really
Uh,
matter.
As far as Michael, I think the Soul Flayers they go score. Like normally use Wind Blast to push things off objectives, but in this game, it's kind of like if you want to Wind Blast them out of scoring, you're also unscoring your unit. So I think they just go hide behind the woods at this point and say, I'm scoring unit strength.
Mhm.
It's a bonus point no matter what.
It's guaranteed. If I go run away, there's probably nothing.
Ooh, 2
much
lightning
that
bolt.
hunting me
That's
down.
not bad. Put it up to
Okay,
7.
okay,
and I think
okay.
that was a nerve roll of 9, which will
Yeah.
pick up the Dreadfiend.
Oh,
Is the Battle Shrine not inspiring as well?
It is not. It's just rallying.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
rally.
see, look at us giving great advice that doesn't matter.
Right, because again,
I
a
literally
wizard
threw
with
my thing in the air. I was like,
a wizard with a lightning bolt 3 manages to put 2 wounds on a stealthy Dreadfiend. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so even then, he still
Right.
needed at 7, he still needed an 8 to pick it up, right?
yeah.
Yep.
So again, doable, but over on
Where
the
are
flank,
we here?
this is
yeah.
one of
They're the
those
bushes,
where
yeah.
in a real game, if we're not time heavy, I'm just like, please take snakes. I always
Yeah.
try to offer that, like, you need to do
Yeah.
1 wound with 57 attacks.
You're right.
Take the snakes. Now, at the same token, if someone says, hey, I want to play true to the clock, I want to roll everything, then that's how we play it, right? Maybe I don't take that rear charge because you're not going to offer me snakes. But I go to tournaments to hug Mike. Anything after that's just a bonus.
It's a bonus. Yeah. It's just gravy.
That's why, you know what? It's actually probably good that we can't have tournaments in some ways, because I would definitely just hug everyone and we would all get sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Would you
there's
be
no way
COVID
you can get
Candace?
me in a room with
Yeah.
all these beautiful people and then tell me I'm not allowed to be within 6 feet of them.
Like
Yeah.
Devlin, that majestic bastard.
Oh, that majestic.
You would be COVID Candace, just walking around passing it out like, all right, here it is. Let's see if our prediction of you shouldn't charge bites us in the ass. So only 8 wounds.
Mhm.
Here comes
Yeah.
the flank charge that picks him up.
Yep.
Oh God, 5, 7,
No.
2 more.
No.
All ones
It
and
took him-
threes.
Isn't he crushed 2? Oh, he's only crushed 1, isn't he?
Yeah. So contributed.
Ha! You should have
absolutely
lightning
nothing.
bolted, fool. You
Wow,
charged
they
for
suck.
nothing.
The butchers live.
Yeah.
The butchers
Which means
live
they
on the center.
countercharge. I mean, I don't think they kill that horde though. It's still a bad day for Michael.
Still a bad day for Michael. Yeah, like he doesn't have a whole lot of routes to victory here.
The pain train is not a pain train anymore.
Yeah, no, he really needed that Dread Fiend to not die to a lightning bolt in this case, so that he could capitalize with like a rear charge on the battle shrine or a flank charge onto
Ooh, and is that
those
dead?
honor guard.
It is dead.
We have a dead terror here,
Yeah.
folks.
Down
He
goes
said the
Trey.
pikes did bad, but 9
They
wounds
held.
is 9 wounds. Terror's being only defense 3 is
Yeah, they're
squishy.
really tricky. Yeah.
Oh, that reform is illegal. Let's see if they catch it. He is on the bannerman. I repeat, they caught it. I just wanted to make like a really witty joke.
Brindley Smith cheating scandal revealed.
You know that is exactly what I want to post.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. I don't care.
These articles write themselves.
Scathing review of one screenshot
easy.
of Brindley being a 0.5 millimeter onto the base of a banner bearer.
I love it.
Yeah.
Scathing review.
It's a perfect clickbait article. Did Brindley cheat in his live cast game? Click
And
here
how bad
to find
was it?
out.
Is Brindley a dick?
Oh.
Find out live.
In our old club, we used to joke that like Brindley cheats because he always would like win his own events, win tournaments, but like he's a pretty good player, especially in like Pacific Northwest. Did really well back then. So it would be like it was always this running joke, and so I did put in the whiteboard inside our like terrain cupboard. There's like a sign that's like written in there that's just like Brindley cheats forever because it's been there too long that I think you'd have to get the alcohol to try and get it off the whiteboard. So
No,
it is
that
ingrained
is
in
the
whiteboard.
correct reform, by the way. All the ones he was looking at, let him be flanked by Reapers, hindered or not. They're so happy with that charge.
But they can't see him now, anyways, right? So
They can still draw line of sight from their front.
Yeah. They're where they're not.
And now that it's a front charge, hindered, ensnared.
Yeah, hitting on 5s.
also
not happy.
throwing shade on
No.
the PNW, Jeremy. I love the PNW. Okay,
You're moving back.
I am moving back.
No, Ashley was deliberately throwing shade. She messaged me, Jeremy, before you got on.
I
So.
mean,
Also, I'd like to point out Anthony
moved on
Ray
to the-
Shields. I'm going to not read this in context. He just says, I completely agree. Dino Lord, I completely agree. I think that's all we need to screenshot from this conversation. So, Mike, if you could just remember that one part, I'd really appreciate it. We don't need to see the rest.
We'll screenshot that. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just as an aside, Anthony Ray Shields, I miss you.
on a third
Oh.
aside, yeah, we're on the bottom of 4. You got it. There we go.
Brindley's
On a
caucus
fifth
over.
aside, we're skipping the fourth aside. I can't play Helm's Deep with you, Anthony, because COVID.
Yeah.
COVID's the
And-
worst.
in Canada.
So
Yeah.
the Butcher's opting to go for the Dash 14 unit. Not sure if I agree with that over the unit you can... Well, I guess he has the Iron Resolve thing, though. But
Yeah.
Or not Iron Resolve, but our Indomitable Will. But at the same time, you're basically accepting that Butcher Horde is dead now.
Right.
By not... I get Rally 2 is huge, but you're accepting that unit is dead by not stripping that Thunderous 2.
Oh, they did.
You strip the Thunderous 2, I think you might have a chance to make it, right?
Also, Brindley pointed out in the little chat spot that the terror that's still alive with 2 wounds is 0 for 6 or 0 for whatever on its
On its regens.
300 regens, yeah. I've noticed that.
I guess the only question is, does that Reaper troop just literally sit there and say, I get you're going to score, but I'm going to prevent you from doing anything cheeky? Or do they just throw their lives into the wind and trade points? Or do you turn them around and cut your losses and turn to try and fight other units?
I don't know, man. They've been
nothing.
I feel like I don't
except
like.
They're in a bad spot.
I
Yeah, they're
didn't
really
like
bad
the
spot.
fact that we turned to go that way to begin with.
Yeah.
I feel like you're taking unit strength out of the way. It was going to be a couple turns before you got anywhere. You're probably not going to kill what's in front of you over there anyways, or you may, but like to get across the board, you've basically put yourself in a position where you're not.
Ooh, Butcher's
just
only put
put
4 wounds on the battle shrine.
Oh,
They need a 10. That's not a 10.
How about a 7-1? Is that going to do it? I don't think.
Definitely not
no.
good.
No, dash 13.
We get a hashtag close.
Not close enough.
Just a bit
No,
outside.
I don't know if we should have that one.
Just a bit outside.
Just a touch under.
All right, moving on to the
The
scarecrows and
top
the
you
terror on the honor guard over here on the far right.
You know what? Here it is. They're just going to roll out of the box. Oh, this is the center scarecrow.
Oh, it's the center
Okay.
one. My fault.
They're not
Well,
working.
they did put the blue dot on the other one. You know.
The 3-inch circle is the universal sign of this is where we're
This
going.
one.
Right.
This
Yeah.
one.
Universal battle etiquette / I believe verbatim instructions from host.
Mhm.
Mike, just remember, even though I drink a lot, I listen to you sometimes.
That's right.
Do you
It
need
all
me to go
sinks in.
yell at Brindley? I'm good at it.
No, that's fine.
Nah, Brindley will yell at himself later when he rewatches this and realizes that he left a flank charge from Dread Fiends onto his honor guard horde.
So that's 8 wounds from the scarecrows on the honor guard,
That's nasty.
right?
Yeah. It does better.
Oh, that was all in though.
Oh, so he wavered, but he'll just pop Indomitable.
Where was the
turn anyways?
10? Oh, I see it now.
There you go, sweetheart.
Top of 5.
Yeah, he's throwing out that indomitable will before the turn even changed.
Well, he was basically like, I'm wavered, but I'm gonna do it. So like,
Yeah.
that's you just like remembering to do
Yeah.
it.
There is no line of win for Michael. So do we see a way that that Brindley can now try to prevent Michael from scoring any bonus points? Because I think Brindley's in a good position to try and make his max bonus points. He still has the flying heroes.
Right.
He's got the horde because 5 units fully across the board scores. So
Now, I would say for me, go hunt down the whatchamacallit seas by the forest with the pew-pews. I'm very helpful and descriptive. Oh, look at that. But there was also something, they didn't change their clocks right away?
Yeah, they didn't. They forgot to switch it at the beginning of the turn last turn, and now they've. I think Michael may have forgotten to flip his, but they're down to the last couple turns. They have 15 and 25 minutes left.
4.
They have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So
for
what
the
I'm
amount of time
seeing
this
here
may take.
is from left to right, Brindley basically has 5 assured scoring units that I don't see dying. He has the honor guard on the left,
Mhm.
the Baron, the honor guard in the middle. The other Baron probably won't die. And then the Dogs of War horde is going to go literally nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's 5 bonus points and enough unit strength to win the game handedly.
Right.
No matter what happens on the other side of the table. And then he also has that stupid Pegasus wizard that he can fly around just to make sure.
Right.
Like on turn
Yeah,
6, just
Hipster-
pivot, double time score.
Hipster Pearcy is playing one of the most popular armies, and it's not going great for him.
Yeah.
So he'll be back to
He just took our
playing obscure things for round 6.
So there's the 24. So yeah, I think we're going to see Brindley with a max bonus point.
Yep.
Um,
And you have to have majority over to get the points for winning the scenario, but you have to be entirely over to get the bonus points
Right.
for the tournament.
correct. A small caveat, but a caveat.
So would
Um,
you pivot those Dogs of War to like face some of the stuff going on the right flank so that you're still majority over, and then on the top of turn 6 you could just sidestep so you're completely over, and then or you could take a charge if needed.
I don't think I would show
I
my
don't think it
flank to those
matters.
Reapers.
He's mindful of
fair.
those Reapers, right? And at this point, you could turn to face the Terror or face the Scarecrow, but you're going to be hindered if you pivot too much farther,
Right.
making a charge.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I just sit there and say, I'm a lot of unit strength that you can't kill, nana boo boo.
Yeah, they
And you're,
just
you're not threatening
They
me in
set
any
up-
way.
you just set up shop and
Even if
score
the the Indomitable Will unit does 0 wounds. Like they flub it or they snakes it, it doesn't matter, right? This is top 5, so they'll die. And on 6, the Terror scores, the Scarecrow scores, the Soul Flayer score. Like assuming a perfect, like no lightning bolts, no poke, no nothing. It's still going to be like 12 unit strength to 4 or 5 to 6, and a max of 5 bonus points to 3. So it's going to be, you know, it could be approaching a 24, 25 point win for Brindley based on how combat goes.
Right.
True.
And he's just going to lightning bolt the Reapers. So.
Yeah, those poor Reapers sat there for half the game, wavered, and have now wandered around behind a house and are still going to get lightning bolted to death.
There's something to be said about that, though, right? Like he didn't have thick chap. Like you don't have the things you usually see people hiding them behind.
Right.
Now, I try very hard not to critique people's lists because I fully believe you need to play a list a lot before you understand it, including my own stuff. But an integral design in Night Stalkers is I hide the expensive thing behind the hard to kill tall thing.
Right.
Or you just take so many Reapers that no one can count. Like only Reapers, it doesn't matter what you shoot, I'm charging you. Also, no one do that, please.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I'm loving the toot train. I don't know what's up with Brindley today on the toot train, but sure, you know what? Do your best.
Maybe he's jealous because I said
Oh,
Daka
no
Daka Daka.
toots. He failed his
Failed the Bane Chant
no
roll.
toots.
Yep. Now moving on to combat. So this is going to be the Baron on the Arrowlez into the Scarecrow Horde.
It's like 2 wounds.
Just doing
They're
a couple
gonna
of
be
wounds.
just fine.
And, hey, there's Snake Eyes.
There's Snake Eyes. That doesn't matter.
I was gonna say good place to use your snake eyes.
Irrelevant.
If you're gonna
Snake
waste
Eyes.
it, waste it. This would be a great place to use the Snake Eyes right here.
Ooh.
Is that all hits? What was that?
Well, I don't get why he's not doing it twice because it's also a flank. There's the snakes.
Oh shit!
No
It
way.
is.
That
That's
So
a real
even though
Snake
he
Eyes.
failed to roll enough, he rolled
Oh.
two sets of hits. I got it. How he did it. They just
Yeah.
dragged all the wound dice down and just said close enough.
I hope you know there's
They're
like
devastated.
laughter that I hope means he's okay with this, or I think he's okay.
You see,
with it.
now you should have listened to us and charged the horde last turn. Obviously, big game plan. Pedestrian move. Always assume the snakes. Classic. No
Battle
surprise
Persona.
that horde did not survive 2 rounds of honor guard.
I was gonna say just run away.
So that was him seeing how much he needs to overrun. I think you just
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
Because if you turn just enough that the terror's in the front, it's not scoring. Don't do that. That lets it score and charge you. Well, no, I guess the Soul Flayers are there too. They just need a big roll. I don't know if 4 does it.
Yeah, it does.
They're rear charged by Soul Flayers.
Yeah.
And I definitely take that
Oh,
charge. I
is
forfeit
he?
a unit strength to deny
just did,
3.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's just from.
And well, it's bottom of 5 too on that charge, right? So you take the rear charge, you turn them in on 6, you just yeet and score. So,
Yeah.
but if
Happy
Brindley had
that
rolled,
would
it looks
be
like if Brindley had got a 5 or a 6
He
for
would've been
sure, those honor guard
5,
were
I think
immune.
even 5. I think he was out of the. If you look, I think he would have been out of the arc.
The Soul Flayers too.
But Pearcy sees it and goes for it immediately.
Now,
When-
this is where Michael
Oh
should
my
be
gosh.
posting toot toot in the chat.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, because even then, he kills him and just backs up 3, and he might
Yep.
not have to move again.
Oh goodness, I'm having flashbacks to Brindley.
Did
being,
the
"It's fine,
terror
I'll
have
get
the
rear
flank on the
charge."
dogs?
I don't think he did, because he just pivoted straight around. Like he wouldn't be able to. I'm pretty sure he did not have.
I know he
Flank.
did.
I assume so.
And he
Oh,
totally
yep.
derped on seeing the arc on the Flyers. Okay.
Ashley calling it out before all of us
What?
that he just derped it. So the terror position, I think what he's doing is just saying, I'm here. I'll just pivot and move to score on 6, but I'm going to try and keep you boys honest for 1 whole turn.
Yeah.
I don't think it gains anything, but it certainly doesn't hurt anything either, right? So it's a good play to pose questions that you just have to keep things honest. At this point, the butchers have to go back into the battle shrine. You only have 9 attacks now. You might as well try. Did Brindley forget to lightning bolt the Reaper troop, or did he miss? I didn't catch a roll.
I think he may forgot because I didn't see a roll either.
Not that it matters.
Yeah.
Although in a way it does, because now he can put the Reaper troop into the Dogs of War Horde, and there's a not 0 chance that they live. There's a some probability chance that they don't die, and then the Terror can flank the Horde and deny a pretty big unit strength, but still lose. So, oh no, the bonus points for scoring the Terror are probably worth more than the moral victory of deleting the Dogs of War Horde.
Yep.
But as a petty, facetious bastard, you kill the Horde. Damn it.
True facts.
If Avatar: The Last Airbender taught me anything, redemption arcs are overrated. Just kill it.
I want to rewatch that show now. Why you do this?
Because it's a great show,
It is
and
amazing.
Zuko's redemption arc is a masterpiece. And I was being sarcastic, and no one hate me.
All right, so he's turned. The
Anthony
terror
says kill the
basically-
Horde.
Yeah, he's turned that terror basically so it's just looking at the flank of the Horde, and I guess that means next turn you can either turn your flank to the Reapers or leave the terror in the flank. Take your pick, right?
Yep. And in that case, you just let the hindered Reapers.
And here's the rear charge. 18 hits does probably enough wounds, yeah, on
Probably it
7
does
and a 9.
indeed.
Britton Williams says, I've spoken to the world, now it'll happen. Mark Taylor says, oops, all Reapers. Anthony Ray Shields agreed with me twice in one night. He should probably consider changing away from alcohol to water at this point. And Ray definitely says kill the Horde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, that Terror in the position, he may actually be able to put the Dogs of War in the front of the Terror and still not have the Reapers fit between the Horde and the house. And still be all the way over 24. Who knows? It's a mute point.
Who knows what the future holds?
What
Okay,
really
that was
matters
not
is those
focused
Soul
thing.
Flayers had fun times.
Yeah.
That might be the most points a Soul Flayer unit's ever picked up on a table in the history of Kings of War.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on those little flyer units. They don't seem like a lot, but like, soul flayers or like gargoyles or something like that gets in your rear and rolls hot, and all of a sudden you lose a hammer unit or even a waver.
All of a sudden,
Time
nibble
Brindley
unit
gave
like that.
up a rear to like mounted boys and they destroyed him.
Well, you start adding up. All of a sudden, 30 crappy dice is 30 crappy dice, right?
Devastated.
Oh, he rolled 18, forgot, so he did the reroll on the 9 there.
Right.
That's all that is.
Yep.
And
Killed the
four
shrine,
is-
didn't kill the shrine. That variance. Oh, no, that unit can't be. Oh, the Banner Bear inspires it just in at 9.
Yeah.
Because everything's very inspiring.
Yeah.
So-
We get special rules. Yay! Nobody gives goblins crap. Kings of Men, like goblins with better nerve.
Pretty much.
You know what we have that
goblin-
you don't? Mincers. Deal with it.
Good job.
I'm not
And
bitter.
trolls.
You're bitter.
We have trolls too, Kyle.
I don't take trolls.
I love trolls.
I have a lot of trolls. I just don't take them. I do like them.
Alrighty. So where are we at here? Are they rolling dice? Are they thinking about
That's-
life?
That's basically the end of turn 5. I think we're pretty much rolling into
It's
turn
gonna be-
6.
I think he's just seeing that what he can do here, like with a kill, can he sidestep into bonus points? Or if he only gets the mission, which at this point winning the mission is already over, so he's just trying to make sure he scores 5 bonus.
Right.
So from the left, Horde, Baron, Baron,
Hold on a second.
Wizard. So he's got the max 5 bonus points already. I don't see him not getting it. Oh,
They're
but he might. Well, he might have to turn the Pike Horde out. Actually, the Dogs of War Horde might have to leave the bonus point territory.
Why? Oh, it's just Mike. I was like, why is my phone beep booping?
Yeah, sorry, Brindley had the question that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
that,
I saw that here.
For the scenario, you have to only be majority over, but for the bonus points for Northern King scoring, you have to
So
be
they're
fully-
using the stretchy ruler instead of the red ruler. Peasants.
Yep.
Although you guys made fun of me for using 2 12s because I legit didn't know there was a 24. So, is what is.
Yep.
Um,
Let's do
I
one
guess they're
last
gonna
quick,
right now they're gonna have a
check.
conversation. A legit conversation is occurring right now. Do you agree that's front, or do I need to pivot more?
Right.
Um,
So we're coming down here. So here in turn 6, Brindley still got 15 minutes. Michael Pearcy still has 13. Plenty of time, given as much stuff as on the table.
so what they've done at this point is they've probably gone, I agree that's front. That's like the minimum amount of pivot you can get to become front. That's way a lot. But he's also looking at the soul flayers behind, right?
Yeah.
So what they're going to do now is they're going to measure and see if it's over 24. And then what'll probably happen is Brindley will have to decide, do I accept the bonus point loss, or do I let the soul flayers flank me and take the terror in the front?
Right.
Yeah, definitely don't take the terror in the flank, I don't think.
The other thing is he just might decide to move forward and then try to rotate a little bit. But now you're in the range where hindered reapers can fit.
Right. Can easily fit, yeah. Because you've stepped into their
So I
effective
think
threat range.
the strongest play might be take the terror in the front, which means the terror doesn't score for bonus points, which is a huge detriment to sort of mitigating the loss of Michael.
Yeah.
And
I
the
would
soul
say vote
flayers in the
there.
flank, which don't bonus point, which is again a big detriment to Michael. Michael's basically forfeiting any points of
Well, let's see.
any
He's
bonus
got 1,
points to take that
2,
charge.
3, 4. He's got 4 units that are already entirely over. If he just disengages this dishonor guard in the middle and backs away and trusts that either lightning or this battle shrine is going to finish off those butchers, then he can have all 5 bonus points. He doesn't have to worry about what happens with the dogs of war, because you're still capped at 5 bonus points, and it's per scoring unit, and he has plenty of scoring units left.
Yeah, he could just disengage and sidestep. Absolutely.
I would
Well,
vote
even if you leave the
Victoria.
butchers alive at this point,
Right.
It's
What are they going to do? Kill a battle shrine?
kind of
So,
irrelevant.
Right.
Or yeah,
Right.
just keep the wizard right where it is. Turn and use the lightning bolt 3 with the staff.
Right.
Instead of, because like right now, I don't think the wizard needs to be doing any of these shenanigans. It's scoring. It's completely safe where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you go
Like,
within
why-
Reaper charge?
why
Go
take-
behind the Reaper or something?
Right. You're
Why
just going
take
to lose
any
a bonus
risk?
point to Reapers getting a flank charge or even a front charge on that horse. Like, you're
I
just
think
gonna
he's
give
trying
away
to
a bonus
protect the
point.
flank on the horde. Is what he's trying to do,
Yeah,
and he's
but
just
the horde is
hoping
not
the lightning bolt gets him.
Yeah, the horde is not entirely. Yeah, he might be praying that the lightning bolt from the wizard picks up those reapers,
Yeah.
but
But I agree with you, Mike. You kill the horde, so what? I've already won the mission. I'm playing exclusively to make sure, from a tournament standpoint,
right.
I have 5 bonus points. How do I guarantee it? You sidestep the honor guard horde, like you said. You keep the
Yep.
wizard immune, and you just use the lightning bolt to snipe the butcher horde. And if the reapers pick up the dogs of war and he gets all the attrition, the way Northern King scores, I'm not out anything if you kill my stuff.
Exactly.
It's not a scaling slide. So
Sliding scale.
mitigate a sliding scale. Yeah, I don't use words good. But you just mitigate, like mitigating loss is almost kind of irrelevant at this point. It's just about making sure I score as close to 25 as possible.
Yeah.
And that Pegasus play does not ensure that charge. That Pegasus play gives a real chance to lose a Pegasus for a unit that you've done so good taking out of the game. That Reaper troop is wasted until that move.
And they can see
Unless
them.
he's just hoping that Lightning 3 magically does something and then takes him out.
I hope it whiffs
Yeah.
entirely and punishes Brindley's hubris.
But
I've also
he could
lost
have
to Brindley.
he could have easily lightning bolted them from where the wizard was. Right.
Yep.
Just like fly over the scarecrows, turn and face them and lightning bolt them without putting yourself in their charge
Yeah,
range.
or
and-
just literally not move at all.
right. Ugh.
Although shoot him with cover,
Didn't
I
have
get
to.
it. But actually, right now he's shooting him with cover.
Because he landed in the water.
'Cause he
Well,
landed
not
in
only
the
that,
water.
but he's in their side arc,
Yeah, and that's covered by the
Yeah, with
House.
the house.
the building.
Yeah.
right, which is why
So-
he should have flown behind the scarecrows and turned and faced their back with a clear shot. I don't know.
Of course, that would be the one time he does no hits with his super lightning bolt wizard, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's still at the end of the day, because of how the scoring system works, you lose the Dogs of War, all you're doing is granting your opponent a bonus point. Or, an extra shot at the attrition score for a +1.
Right.
Which I mean, really, like at this point, the way it's been with so many people doing so well with so many wins, your opponent taking a loss and getting an extra point isn't going to hurt you.
So that is 1 wound with the lightning bolts, bring them up to 6, and another 6 rolled for nerve would put them at 12. What's the nerve on a Reaper troop?
Should be dead.
Yeah, they're only 10, 12.
But inspired.
12.
And there's a 5, so they're wavered.
Wavered.
Since he's
So they're
inspired
not coming
by
in.
his own-
All of our beautiful shenanigans for naught yet again.
Right.
I stand by my decision that was a poor charge, or a poor position. 20 attacks hindered kills a 10-12 Pegasus.
I'm
it's a pretty
shocked.
expensive unit.
The
Right,
butchers,
so there's a
they are dead.
non-snakes on the butchers.
Yep, they just said snakes twice. Go for it.
Yeah.
So here
They were
comes the
devastated
sidestep,
already.
figuring out
Right, which
if
he
they can do it with a 3.
right, which he didn't really need to do. He could have just disengaged and done the full
A
3.5
4.
inch sidestep or 4 inch
Or
sidestep.
3.5, yeah.
Or just back up. Like he could have done either of those things. And
Doesn't
finished it
matter.
off.
He got it anyways. Oh no, he got the
Yeah.
battle.
No, that was the battle shrine walking forward, which still doesn't put it all the way over.
No.
They picked up the Scarecrow Horde.
Damn.
So I actually don't know if that Honor Guard Horde made it all the way over the line.
I
I
don't
think
think they
he forfeited a perfect score. I say perfect. It might have been a 24 because terrors aren't cheap.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he may have forfeited, at least at the bottom of 6, right? There's always a roll for 7. But he may have forfeited a shot at a 25-point win. So I doubt the terror can do that. It's probably going to have to actually pivot and turn and just go. And that's him realizing he has to just move.
Yeah.
At this point, I assume you just leave the Dogs of War Horde alone, pivot the Soul Flayers, and take off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felix, we know they don't need to. Felix is saying you don't need to be fully over the line. You don't need to be fully over the line to score for the scenario, but you need to be fully over the line.
For
to
the
get
Northern
bonus
King's
point.
bonus point.
Yeah.
And it's not, and the bonus points are per scoring unit completely over the line.
Yep.
Up to 5.
Yeah, if I'm Michael at this point, I just take my 2 bonus points and go. Killing that Dogs of War Horde with Soul Flayers on the flank, 18 attacks, it's not going to happen. And
Or
you're
you look
forfeiting
at the
a point.
tournament ladder and you see who your opponent is likely to be given the score you're going to get.
And you make a decision that way.
Make a decision
Although with
that
so
way.
many people in here, Michael, it's kind of hard. Like
It is.
there for 2 rounds straight, me and Rashad were basically tied and we still didn't play. Because Rashad keeps ducking me. You heard it here first, folks. Rashad ducks Dino Lord.
Well, hey, you know what you can do? You could challenge him at Vanguard next year because he's coming.
That's
Rashad's
right.
going to make it all the way out to our neck of the woods.
He lost the
He lost the mic.
he lost the mic, and they had a bet on who
And
was
that was our bet.
whoever lost that
Loser
bet.
flies.
And the roll for 6 was a not
The
result.
roll for
So
7 was not. So that's game.
So that's
7,
game.
6. Numbers are so hard, Mike. Words are hard. Numbers are hard.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome back, you butthead.
I went to that loop was awesome. So was Conjurer's staff. They were just doing work.
Mhm.
Well,
All right,
we just
we'll give
agreed.
Michael a-
If you weren't going to do what our recommendations were, you just needed to roll good enough to barrel through it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we
Yeah,
spent
pretty
25
much
minutes talking.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
We spend 25 minutes talking strategy, and you don't do that, and then you roll hot, and it doesn't matter.
We're like, I don't know if that's the right decision. Oh well, it worked out.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Well,
if I even rolled
here-
hot necessarily this game as much as just spiky. It was very spiky.
It was very spiky. Yeah, that's
Sure.
right.
I only.
So-
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I was going to say, so these lists are either these lists that you guys have a lot of practice with, or are these both sort of experimental lists for both of you?
Both of us just started these.
I put this list together maybe 2 hours before we played.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I did finish the final tweaks about 10 minutes before submission.
Okay,
But
I
I
thought
did
so.
do one practice with Rordia because I'd never played them before.
Sure. So then give us your first impressions. Like, did I'll ask Michael first. Did this list do what you kind of expected it to, and do you think this was just a bad matchup for you, or do you think you're going to revisit your list building strategy for this and make some changes to it?
I mean, it was a terrible matchup, to be honest. The Night Stalkers invest so heavily in stealthy and literally did not matter at all. And he had shooting, so
Yeah.
To be honest, I questioned the decision to have lightning bolt ignore stealthy. And then, there's not a whole lot that is a good matchup for high defense with multiple sources of automatic healing. So I kind of was in trouble. I really needed first turn. That's kind of just how it goes with invade.
Okay.
And then the stuff that I was trying to kind of make a comeback on was the luck didn't help me out there at all.
Yeah, because you have to keep trying to make wilder and wilder plays, right?
Yeah, definitely the butchers going into the flying duke all the way over on the left, and not really paying off for you there. It seemed like it really kind of cost you that flank. I think we did have a question about that Dreadfiend over on the left after he turned and kind of got away from the flying duke. There was a turn there where it looked like he had a flank charge on some honor guard that had crossed the table and kind of turned to face towards the right.
Oh yeah, there was zero chance that they were going to kill you. The 10 attacks, no way.
Okay.
I mean, if
so
I hidden wound with everything, I'm lucky to get an 8, which is less than half odds to kill, and then they just heal a couple wounds and the Dreadfiend dies.
Okay. Yeah, we weren't sure whether you didn't see it or didn't think it was worth it.
No, I mean, I had set it up with where I put the Reapers. I was kind of hoping that he would go into the Butchers in the middle of the table with the Honor Guard and try to take the Baron into the Reapers for the kill. I knew that there was the possibility he would slam that Honor Guard Horde in, and then the Dreadfiend would just go for the back door. Which is how it played out. I was setting up the flank on the character, but I didn't want the flank on the Honor Guard.
Okay, that makes sense. And so, having played it once now, do you think this is a list that you're gonna stick with for a while and try against some different opponents, different armies, different lists?
No, I mean, I a lot of the stuff that I like to play is like kind of relies on being able to accumulate damage, and that's just not what the meta is right now. So I think this is just going to be a fun list.
Okay.
I had a question for Brindley.
Yeah.
Very vocal when you rewatch it. I disagree with your turn 6 play, so I want to hear your thought process for it.
Which one?
You took your glorious, majestic super wizard, and you landed him in the pond.
Yeah.
Where if you don't waver or kill the Reapers, you probably lose the wizard, which is a guaranteed bonus point to protect a horde that is not worth any bonus points. Why though?
Chance he could die, but at the same time, it's 4s and 3s on 20 attacks, so he might do about 6 wounds. So there's a chance he survives. I just wanted to prevent that if he does whiff on his lightning as well, that the Reapers don't get to flank the Dogs of War. Because if he kills the Dogs of War, then that's a much bigger loss than just a wizard.
Yeah,
Right,
but they were bonus points placed because they weren't completely across for bonus points, and you already went in the scenario.
I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't really. I was kind of like thinking too much on that turn 6. I did the stupid Valhalla thing on turn 5 and was like, oh wait, that's a rear charge. Oops.
Sure.
Yeah, we were.
And then the wizard I was considering, like you guys already saw, I tried positioning him behind the Reapers. I probably should have just done that.
Yeah, because our thought was the way it scores, right? Even if you trade even if you trade that horde, it doesn't cost you any points. It only gives Michael an advantage.
Right.
But it worked out, as all of our tactical disagreements with both of you did. I don't think you should do that. Oh, it works. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
So what do I know? I'm just a beard.
But no, I definitely made misplays that I caught in the game. I was like, oh shit, shouldn't have done that.
The chat said you were just seeing red. You had blood in your eyes.
Seeing red, dude. I built these hammers because I was so tired of my hammers always like bouncing off one bad combat and then dying in one shot. And now all of a sudden I've got 16, 18, once per game, fearless, healing monstrosities. I don't even care if I one-shot him. Which I think in 1 or 2 cases I did, just out of the wealth of charges the Honor Guard had. But this list was just one that I knew would be fun to play regardless. So
A variant of
both
it did
lists that
really
led
well
me
at the
to
best of the rest. The
Ed's
the
list.
triple honor guard did really
that list
well.
looked terrifying. Yeah.
Well, it was a fun game to watch. Lots of tactics to talk about. Lots of making fun of Brindley. I mean, talking about Brindley's technical skills on the
As you
table.
should.
Yeah, it's a good time.
For those of
Any
you,
other
Only
questions?
ever say nice things about Brindley. Only
Yeah.
ever.
Any other questions from the panel or from the folks watching at home?
I think I'm
Doesn't
good.
seem like it. Yeah, no. So thanks so much, guys, for letting us look over your shoulders while you played. That was a fun game, and it was
Yeah,
definitely fun to
thank you,
talk
guys.
about. We had a good time. Looked like it was fun to
Mhm.
play. Congrats to Brindley on the win, and good luck to both of you in the final round of the tournament coming up in another week. I'd also like to thank Kyle and Steve and Ashley for hanging out with me and talking through this game, and thank everybody at home for watching along as we watched Brindley and Michael play. Coming up later this week, we might have another broadcast or not, depending on whether some folks get back to me, or we might just roll right into round 6 when that starts up with some coverage of the last round. We have some special stuff in mind for the last round, so definitely keep watching. Make sure to subscribe to Dash 28 Live on YouTube so you get notifications when broadcasts are scheduled. And so until next time, thanks one more time, everyone.
Before we go, Mike, there's a very important YouTube comment we have to address.
Oh, is there?
Natoba asked permission to marry Brindley. Ashley gave a thank you thumbs up in the chat, and that has been confirmed as permission to marry Brindley. So
Awesome.
before we go, I just wanted you to know, Brindley, Mazel Tov.
Yeah. But, I also had like one closing comment I wanted to make too. I don't think I said it at the start of the game, but I loved Pearcy's list. I thought that was a really cool Night Stalker list. Very like a lot of originality in it. So like it was a bad matchup potentially here, or at least losing first turn. But I think that'd be something that you could see do well at a tournament. But yeah, it suffers from Lightning Bolt, but I really liked it.
All right, fair enough. All right, thanks again, everyone. You've been watching Dash 28 Live, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.